Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto had a faithful encounter with the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. In front of Konoha no Sato's gate there are 7 ninjas. The tallest ninja is looking at the structure and said, "So this is Konoha no Sato. It doesn't look like much." The smallest ninja said, "Sharky, we shouldn't judge this country, after all we are the ones who are asking for their help." In addition, they were able to defeat the strongest Biju to exist, the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Kushimaru said, "You know, I have a small problem with Konoha." Mangetsu quipped, "You always have a problem with a country. What's the problem with this one?" Kushimaru rolled his eyes at Mangetsu. He pulled out one of his sewing needles and threw it at Mangetsu. He said, "From what my sources tell me, Konoha became really soft. I heard because of that event they lost a lot of their shinobi. This could be a problem as we don't know their set of mind when we need them to perform or if we let them train our young ones. Could they hinder them?" Mairi butted in, "Needle, your points are duly noted. However, they do have a lot of powerful teachers. Remember, their teaching line has had some of the strongest teaching lineage. For example, Hiroshima and Tobirama team, the team that had the Sandaime Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, and both members of the deadliest ninja duo to exist, Hamura Midokado and Kahara Utatane. The Sandaime then taught the 3 Sannin Jiraiya, Tsunade and Orochimaru. Jiraiya then taught the most power Hokage and possibly the most powerful Kage of all time, the Yellow Flash, Minato Namikaze. He then taught Rin, the killer of sin, and the former Anbu captain Kakashi Haddock, the copy ninja. Imagine that is just one line. So imagine that with one of those kinds of lines what Kiri could develop. In addition, Konoha shinobi are bloodline specialists. They have Dojutsus, Hadojutsus, body technique, and elemental Kekkei Genkase. Our young ones can be taught how to harness their abilities. Think of the possibilities of a Kiri, Konoha, and Sun alliance. The other 2 would not dare to attack us or them." Zabuza was hoping that Konoha said yes. He said, "How true, short circuit. Let's hope that they think the same way and accept our offer. If not, then we are in big trouble. Well, let's stop dilly-dallying and go in." Inside, Naruto Uzumaki is running from a group of the daily angry mob. Naruto is 6 years old and about 3 feet 5 inches tall. He has dirty blonde hair. He has deep blue eyes that have the shape of a star. He has a round-shaped face with 3 whisker marks on each side of his face. His clothing consisted of a tethered orange jacket with a spiral on the right arm and the back and a ripped-up torn pair of orange pants. The reason Naruto was running from the mob is simple: they wanted to kill the demon. The villagers believe Naruto is a demon due to the fact of what happened on the day of his birth. On October 10, 6 years ago, the Kyuubi no Kitsune, the 9-tailed fox, attacked and destroyed the village. Their brave and fearless leader, the Yondaime Hokage, was able to seal the monster into an orphan. The boy is the one running now. The boy is blissfully unaware of his unfortunate cast in life. What he did know was that he had to follow his instincts to either fight or flight. With that sword in that guy's hands and a crowbar in another's, it is easy to choose for a 5-year-old who has no sort of training whatsoever. He ran his little legs to death. He was cutting corners trying to escape. He even jumped fences trying to get away from them. As he ran his little heart out, he bumped into someone. Naruto fell down to the ground. He rubbed his butt as he looked at the person he hit. His eyes became wide. He saw 7 people. He read about this group of people in a book that Jiji let him read. They are the Kiri no Shinobigatana Shichinen SHK, the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. The one he bumped into is Zabuza Mamachi. Zabuza is a tall and noticeably muscular man with pale skin, short spiky black hair, brown eyes, and small eyebrows. He is normally seen wearing bandages like a mask over the bottom half of his face. Under his mask, he had a relatively narrow jawline and jagged teeth, a trait he shared with his fellow swordsmen. He wore his forehead protector sideways on his head and prior to his defection from Kurigakure, donned its standard uniform and flak jacket. On his back he has the cleaving knife known as the Kubikurumj, decapitating carving knife. The one next to him is Kisame Hoshigaki. Kisame is a very tall, muscular and strong ninja. He has a distinctive shark-like appearance, completed with pale blue skin, small, round wide eyes, gill-like facial markings under his eyes, gills on his shoulders and sharp triangular teeth, much like the other members of the swordsmen. He also styled his dull blue hair in the form of a shark fin. He is wearing a dark sleeveless shirt paired with matching pants, provided with a waist guard and striped arm and leg warmers. On his back there is his sword called the Samehada, shark skin. The one next to Kisame is Kushimaru. Kushimaru is both very thin and tall in stature, giving him an overall gangling appearance. Due to his service within the Anbu, his face is concealed by a white porcelain mask with a darker colored triangle on its lower part, slits for eye holes, and Kurigakure's symbol carved on its top. His attire consisted of a sleeveless black shirt, matching pants, complete with a waist guard, and Karigaku's striped wrist and leg guards. He also wears bandages around his neck and possibly around the lower half of his face, much like Zabuza and the other members of his generation of the Kiri swordsmen. His sword is Nabari, sewing needle. The other is Jinin Akabino. Jinin has a dark beard and hair which he ties into a top knot. The remainder of his face appears to be rather angular and features a very protuberant nose. He wears a dark poncho-like cloth over standard swordsman's attire, consisting of a sleeveless dark shirt and matching pants provided with a waist guard, along with pin-striped arm and leg warmers typical of his village, and Karigaku's forehead protector. He also has bandages around his neck like all the members of the swordsmen. His sword is the Kabuto-ari, helmet splitter. The one next to him is Jinpachi Munashi. Jinpachi has dark hair and a beard which he wears in strands adorned with beads. His lips are also noticeably dark in color. The top of his head is covered in bandages, and he has an eye patch covering his left eye, sprouting from under his Karigaku forehead protector. He wears an extremely loose, long-sleeved pin-striped shirt and black pants, accentuated by the presence of striped leg warmers matching his shirt. Like the other members of his generation of swordsmen, he also wears bandages around his neck. His sword is the Shibuki, Splash. The one on the other side is Amaeri Ringo. Amaeri is relatively short in comparison with the other members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Amaeri has long, light-colored hair and, together with a forehead protector, Amaeri also wears a simple cloth around the head, distinctively tied at both sides, so as the ends of the material protrude upwards, while the remainder of hair is allowed to flow downwards. Amaeri wears a loose pin-striped long-sleeved shirt with a dark obi around the waist, black pants which get much looser near the ends, a resembling hakama, and striped leg warmers. Like all the other members of Amaeri's generation of swordsmen, Amaeri wears bandages loosely tied around the neck. His swords are the twin swords called Kiba, Fangs. This means that Raiga is not in it as these were his. The final one is Mangetsu Mizuki. Mangetsu has relatively long white hair and pointed, shark-like teeth, a trait that all known members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist possess. He wears an outfit which consists of a dark sleeveless shirt, light-colored pants and striped leg warmers typical of his village. He carries a water bottle and a belt around his waist. He wears bandages around his neck, another trait shared by the 7 swordsmen, and a standard Karigaku forehead protector. Overall, Mangetsu carries a scroll that can put the 7 swords into it. His sword is Hiramekure. Naruto was extremely scared as any child would be. You just bumped into a guy compared to you looks like a giant and will eat you without a second thought. In addition, you still have that mob looking for you. This is definitely not Naruto's day. He started to back up as his natural instinct to run kicked in. Zabuza looked down at the little Gaki. The Gaki for some reason interested him. He knew this boy was a pipsqueak. There were definitely some signs of starvation by the fact his stomach was starting to hang out. Yet with all of that he could feel a potential that if tapped in correctly could create a powerful shinobi that the elemental countries have ever seen. Zabuza lifted the kid up from the ground with one hand. Before he could say anything to the boy, the mob appeared in view. They were shouting such things as "There's the demon. Let's kill him. Let's burn him by the stake," etc. Zabuza frowned, but no one could see it. As they reached closer to the boy, Naruto tried to run in any direction other than the mob's direction. He was stopped by Kisame as he held him by the back of his orange jacket's collar. Naruto had fearful eyes as he thought this was going to be the end of his miserable life. He closed his eyes as he hoped that he died swiftly. Yet nothing happened to him. He was still dangling from the hands or to be technical hand of Kisame. He opened his eyes to see Zabuza holding his head-cleaving knife out. Zabuza growled at the group of confused self-righteous civilians, "You better leave the Gaki alone or you won't be alive." The civilians were cowering as they felt a great amount of killing intent behind Zabuza's wise advice. They started to run away as they did not want to fight a man with a sword that is bigger than they are. The 7 thought that these group of people were bunch of weaklings and weren't worthy of their time. Yet there was something that caught them off guard. The young child was not even slightly affected by the killing intent. They knew the amount is enough to affect a medium Chunin. The boy is clearly not a Chunin, or for that matter an academy student. So why wasn't he affected by it? This train of thought was going through all of their heads. Zabuza kneeled down to the boy and asked him, "Gaki, do you know where the Hokage tower is?" Naruto nodded furiously as he said, "You want to meet with Hokage Jiji? I can take you." Naruto started to run north as quick as his little legs can take him. Zabuza had a tick mark on his forehead. This boy looks like he has too much energy to use. Kushimaru's eyes narrowed as he noticed something. Kushimaru said, "Seriously, I have a huge problem with Konoha. You see how some of these genin are so blissfully aware of everything? I mean, sure, we have an appointment with the Hokage. That doesn't mean the shinobi here should be on arms about seeing 7 people with weapons such as these. I mean, think about it, the Samahata is a sword that has been feared long before Sharky over here had it. Yet the ninjas are totally indifferent about it. Aim said, relax Kushi. We're going to talk to the Hokage about it. Hokage, the Sandaime was doing paperwork. He was wearing his Hokage robes with the hat included. He truly hated doing paperwork. It was just one big representation of how much Konoha has become more about being a bureaucracy than a dictatorship. It is about sign this, sign that, veto this bill, veto that bill. It has become frustrating as he has yet to do a quota of the successful genin. For that matter, the well-renowned ninja academy had become nothing but a joke. How in the world can you become the Kunoichi of the year by getting a good grade in flower pressing? Flower pressing, for heaven's sake. The Kyuubi attack has put a heavy toll on their forces. So they had to create a facade by making the genin exams 3 extremely easy jutsus, the Bushin, Kawarimi, and the Henge. This made it so they can appear to be as strong as they were before. Besides, this can be the reason Konoha falls. He is truly thinking about an overhaul over the whole system. He remembered he had meeting, but he couldn't remember who it was with. As his hand was getting carpal tunnel, his secretary's voice came over the intercom. She said, a crude, disgusted voice, Hokage-sama, the boy and 7 of his friends, want to see you. He knew exactly who she was talking about. He could only do so much to punish her and the civilians, as they have the ninjas around their weak fingers, for now anyway. He did want to know who these 7 said friends were. He said, let them in. A faint buzzing sound was heard on the other side. A loud boisterous voice came out, hey Gigi. I hear that you're getting older every day. The boy surely knew how to put a smile on an old man's face. Sarutobi replied, ah, Naruto, it is great to see you. Who are friends? I hear you have 7 of them. You know 7 is an extremely lucky number. Naruto was jumping up and down as he was energetic as ever. He said, yay, these guys helped and protected me from the mob who tried to hurt me. Sarutobi had a sad smile on his face. He did want to meet who these people were. Sarutobi asked, Naruto, can I see these friends? Naruto nodded as he asked them to come in. Sarutobi had his head down at first writing something. His smile became one of shock. Right in front of him was the 7 legendary ninja swordsmen of the mist. Sarutobi pressed the button under his desk to warn the Anbu of their presence. He looked on his desk with the peripheral vision that their documentation to be here was signed and processed. He pulled out his pipe and put his strong tobacco in it. He lit it and took a deep breath. He said in a very deep and low voice, what is it that you need? There was an extreme amount of killing intent flaring from the old man. The 7 swordsmen started to sweat a little, but otherwise they were as stoic as ever. Naruto, of course, is oblivious to the tension and killing intent, said, Gigi, why are the birds falling out of the sky? If it was at any other time that would have been funny, but it did break the ice and the tension. It enabled Amaeri to speak. He said, Hokage-sama, it is an honor to meet you. I am Amaeri Ringo, the Tanraku, Short Circuit, and the leader of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. The extremely muscular one is Abusa the Kurigakur no Kijin, demon of the mist. The one with the blue skin is Kisum the Motenai Bijk, the tailed beast without a tail. The one with the mask is Kushimaru the Nemomo Shisatsu, the sewing stabber. The one with the big nose is Jinin the Kapamijin, smasher of atoms. The one with eye patch is Jinpachi the Kurigakur no Manako, the eye of the mist. Finally, the one with the water bottle is Manjetsu the Fukin no Kaiuseisha, the savior of seals. Sarutobi said, hello gentlemen. I must say you have some of the most interesting monikers I have ever heard. Please have a seat. Do any of you smoke? Would you like a cup of tea perhaps? For the 7 swordsmen of the mist to visit another one of the 5 major villages, it must be really important. Gentlemen, I'm all ears. The 7 swordsmen sat down in the chairs provided. Amaeri said, we don't smoke, but tea would be nice, thank you. Sarutobi called in one of his other secretaries, Hikari, in. He said, Hikari-chan, would you be a dear and bring our guest some tea please? She nodded feverishly and walked out. However, before the door closed behind her, the 7 swordsmen saw how she looked at Naruto. She sneered at the poor boy as he looked at her with deep confusion. The 7 decided to stay quiet and wait for Ms. Hikari to come back. A few moments later, Hikari came back with the tea and gave everyone in the room some. Sarutobi took a drink of his tea. He said, Amaeri-san, can you explain to me why you are here? After he took a sip of his tea, Amaeri said, Hokage Dono, we are here to tell you what's going on in Kiri. We are in the midst of a civil war. The Yonde Mizukage has put into place a bloodline purge. They are destroying people with bloodlines or special abilities. Before you start thinking that we want your help as in fighting or such things like that, that is not what we want. We want you to do is give the people with bloodlines and their supporters asylum in Konoha temporarily. We have a plan to have a coup d'etat in Kiri. We just need a base for our young ones. Sarutobi was in deep concentration. This could be an opportunity of a lifetime. Then again, this could be the greatest fall of Konoha. He leaned back in his chair as a million thoughts were going through his head. He said, I see. What I want to know is what will Konoha get out of this? I see that this helps your needs. What I don't see is what we gain from this. We would love to help your people, but we need some incentive to help you. We need some compensation. Do you have any in mind? Aim was in a real pickle. He didn't know what he could give them. They needed the money for when the invasion is finished. Something kept nagging at him. The way the boy kept getting cold hard stare from those who were clearly older and the way the Hokage had a guilty look on his face. He had an idea. He said, Hokage don't know, what is the boy's name? Sarutobi was suspicious as to why they have such interest in Naruto. He asked, may I ask why do you want to know the poor boy? Aim replied, well Hokage-sama, he looked like he would be an amazing shinobi when he grew up. His chakra levels are higher than anyone I've ever seen for someone his age. I just wanted to know who he was as he is very unusual. Sarutobi leaned back into his chair and said, well Amaori-san, his name is Naruto Uzumaki. This caused the seven swordsmen eyes to become a little wide. Kushimaru was the most surprised as the Uzumaki had something to deal with the founding of Kurigakure. Kushimaru said, Hokage don't know is Naruto-san a true blood Uzumaki? Sarutobi nodded causing Kushimaru to continue. He said, Uzumakis are known for their use of kinjutsu, ninjutsu, and fuinjutsu. I was wondering if we could bring Naruto with us so he can harness his abilities. Before you say no, let's think of the possibilities that we both have. As a group, we are allowed to have apprentices. We try to choose people who are able to harness our techniques. Unfortunately we have not found an apprentice to pass down our techniques. I believe Naruto can be our apprentice and learn our ninjutsu, kinjutsu, taijutsu, even fuinjutsu. I can guarantee that he could be a Chunin level shinobi or higher when everything is said and done. He thought about it for a moment. This can work as it would take Naruto out of Konoha. Yet they can manipulate his mind to think and act like them. This could cost Konoha in the long run. He also is taking Naruto's feelings into account. You cannot just uproot a child from his home. Yet does Naruto even consider this place a home? He sighed as he asked, how long are you going to stay here? I want to think about this for at least a night. Then I will give an answer in the morning. Amaori accepted this deal. He was kind of happy because the longer they wait, the more of a chance the coup was not going to be successful. For the Hokage to even give it a thought was a great stride. He bowed to the Hokage and said, Hokage-sama, thank you for your time. May we have a place to stay for the night? The Hokage gave them a few keys to a hotel and sent them away. Sarutobi was leaning in his chair as he saw Naruto who somehow befriended the seven. Maybe this could be an advantage after all. Naruto actually followed the seven swordsmen. Ever since he had seen Zabuza pull out his sword against the mob, Naruto was extremely interested in swords and wanted to learn kinjutsu. So he followed them hoping to find and learn some technique or something. So he ran and ducked between alleyways. The seven swordsmen of the mist knew they were being followed by the Gaki. Using their Anbu hand signs they started to speak. Amaori said, he's still following us why? Isam grinned as he said, looks like we have a fan in Konoha. Do you guys want to lose him or what? Jinin said, well let's see. Let's have some fun. Split up and meet at the hotel. If he catches one of us, we will teach him something. The others loved the idea. They agreed without a thought. They said, on your mark, get set go. They separated from each other and went many different ways. Naruto's eyes went wide. He chased after them. After all Naruto is not one to give up. 2 hours later, the seven were barely even sweating. The only one that was really sweating was Mangetsu. That was only because he had to stay hydrated so he made himself sweat. They all met up at the hotel. They were slightly disappointed as Naruto wasn't able to catch them. They shrugged and were about to go into the hotel, but something happened. Someone dropped down from a tree. The person was sweating up a storm. He was panting as he looked up. He looked up with his amazing shiny blue eyes. He looked at them and said, I finally caught you. Can you please teach me some cool sword tricks? Pretty please with a cherry on top. The seven were pretty shocked that they could not detect Naruto. They definitely needed to up their chakra signature training. They grumbled as they all had to teach the boy something. Amaori kneeled down to the boy and said, okay Naruto, we will all teach you something. The thing is that we can't teach you kinjutsu because for one you don't have a sword. The second is if we teach you our kinjutsu styles, we would be violating the code to only teach kinjutsu to the next generation of the swordsmen. Before we start, why don't we introduce ourselves? You start. Naruto was at first deflated since he won't be able to learn any sword tricks. But he got his spirits back up because someone was willing to teach him something. He said, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I think I know your names. Amaori was getting amused. This kid isn't Uzumaki. The Uzumakis were actually the first generation of the seven swordsmen. He also wanted to see if this little child could remember their names. He said, oh is that so? Can you tell me who this big muscular guy is? He had pointed to Zabuza. Naruto put his hand under his chin. He thought about it for a moment. Then the name came into his head. He said, oh yay that's any easy one. He is Zabu Zabu. The seven except Zabuza tried to hold in their laughter. Zabuza, one of the most dangerous shinobi of his generation, just had his ego deflated by a small child. This will forever change the elemental nations. Naruto has been accepted by the seven swordsmen of the mist. Amayuri and Naruto were at the visitors' training ground. Naruto was currently sitting in lotus position as he saw Amayuri showing him how to unlock his chakra. Ringo's chakra was flaring all around him. He didn't fully unlock it as it would alert the Anbu. He said, "Naruto-kun, what you must do to unlock your chakra is to create a connection between your mind and body, then synchronize them. To do this your mind has to match your body. You can't lose concentration as it won't work." Naruto nodded his head furiously as he thought it was so cool that Amayuri was able to make his chakra dance around him. So he closed his eyes and concentrated on the task at hand. As he concentrated on unlocking his Tenketsu points, the ground around him started to shake. A transparent blue light started to cover Naruto. At the same time a bloody crimson light started to creep in and mix with the blue light. As he concentrated even more, the blue and red lights were swirling around him as if they were fighting each other. Slowly another light was coming. It was bright white and glowing. Amayuri's eyes were wide as he has never seen anything like this before. For some reason this kid here has not one but three different chakras flowing through him. Amayuri heard of people that has two chakras. One was theirs and the other was a demon. They were called Jinchuriki. But this was insane. He knows that Yagura is the container of the three-tailed turtle, but who is this Naruto Uzumaki? Naruto's eyes started to glow. As he opened his eyes from the pain, his eyes headed to Jutsu. Amayuri tried to see which one it is, but Naruto closed his eyes again. The auras of light disappeared. Naruto opened his eyes again, but instead of having the Dijutsu, his eyes were their original bright blue. Naruto was sweating and panting. He said, "Amayuri-sensei, is that what you wanted me to do?" If Amayuri was honest with himself, he would not be able to truly answer the question. Naruto though doesn't need to know that. Amayuri said, "Yes Naruto-kun, you have unlocked your chakra. The question is, do you know how to control it?" Naruto shook his head telling Amayuri that he didn't know. Amayuri said, "Okay Naruto-kun, one of my partners will teach you how to control it. Take a break for a moment and he will be here shortly." With that Amayuri got up and left to get another member. Naruto on the other hand fell on his back. His breathing was ragged. He felt as if his soul was fighting something much bigger than anything he has ever felt before. He wondered, was this how unlocking his chakra was supposed to feel? In Naruto's mindscape an event was occurring. When he was unlocking his chakra he was also unlocking something bigger. The Kyuubi no Kitsune has awoken from her slumber. Kyuubi looks amazing. She has fiery red hair with streaks of blonde highlights that went down to the middle of her back. Her 5'5" frame is curved as if it was an hourglass. Her legs were silky smooth and toned. Her skin is fair and without a single flaw. Her bust was an easy C cup borderline D cup. Her face was that of a goddess. She has a heart-shaped face. She has red slitted eyes. She has beautiful plump lips. She has 2 earrings in each ear. She has 9 fluffy red and yellow tails swaging behind her. She stretched her body out as she yawned. She opened her eyes to see that she was not in her bed. In fact, she doesn't even know where she currently was. She looked and noticed that she was in some kind of dark murky water. She started to wander around looking for Kushina. She feels her presence, but it was definitely diluted. She screamed, "Kushi-chan, where are you?" All it did was make the sounds bounce off the walls. She finally found a light and was surprised at what she has seen. Sandame. The Sandame had called a meeting with the clan leaders and the elders. This was deeply important as it was the concern about Kiri. He will help the rebels. Now it is just the matter of what will they get out of it. The counselors started to pile on one by one. Shikaku Nara was the first to come in. Shikaku has 2 scars on the right side of his face, which are probably his most noticeable feature. He has dark hair tied up into a spiky ponytail, dark eyes as well as a goatee. His ears are also pierced. Shikaku wears a meshed shirt underneath his flak jacket, a deerskin coat over that and hand guards. He is the Jonin commander and the main representative for the ninja council. Behind him was one of his best friends, Inoichi Yamanaka. Inoichi has a long ponytail, darker in shade than his daughter's. He also has blue eyes. Inoichi is seen wearing the standard flak jacket over a black outfit, complete with hand guards, forehead protector and a sleeveless red coat. He is the Yamanaka clan leader. The next one is Chauza Akimichi. Chimza has long red hair and has markings on his cheeks, with the latter being a common trait in the Akimichi clan. He is wearing a samurai-like outfit which entails a black suit completed with armor that has the clan symbol food on it. He also wears a rope belt, hand guards, and instead of a forehead protector, wears a piece of cloth tied to his head, possibly to hold back his hair. The next one is the Inyazuka clan leader, Tsume. Tsume has an animalistic look that has made her the hottest MILFs in Konoha. She has long spiky brown hair, vertical slit-like pupils, elongated canine teeth and nails. She also has the clan fang markings on her cheeks, as well as markings over her eyes and a dark shade of purple lipstick. She wears the standard outfit of a Konoha shinobi outfit. The next one is the stoic and analytical Shibi Aburam. Shibi, like all members of his clan, has his eyes obscured. He wears dark glasses with a tassel hanging down from them. He has very spiky short black hair and a mustache. He wears a high-collared outfit and carries a large gourd on his back. He is the leader of the Aburam clan. The next one to come in was the arrogant Fugaku Uchiha. Fugaku has short brown hair and onyx eyes with visible creases below them made more pronounced whenever he adopts a stern look. He wears a black robe with grey pants with the clan symbol on the back when not on duty. While in his Junin uniform, he wears the standard ninja vest, a black t-shirt with the Konoha Military Police 4 symbol, and a black cloak with white diamonds on the bottom that stops just before his ankles. On his right shoulder he has the Uchiha symbol tattoo. He is the second Jonin commander. The one to come after the arrogant Uchiha clan leader is the stokely arrogant Hiashi Hyuga. He has long dark brown hair and featureless wide eyes like all members of his clan. He normally wears very traditional, loose-fitting robes. He has a tattoo of the Hyuga clan symbol on his wrist. He is the clan head of the Hyuga family and the third Jonin commander. The civilian council came in. Since they are not really important, they don't need to be described. The next one to come in is the elder Danzo Shimura. Danzm appeared as an old frail man who would normally walk with a cane. He had black shaggy hair and his right eye is kept bandaged. Danzm has had an X-shaped scar on his chin ever since his youth. He wore a white shirt with a brown robe over top of it covering from his feet to just over his right shoulder. Right next to Danzo is Hamura Midokado. Hamura has grey hair, a beard, glasses as well as a constant frown that he's always worn, even in his youth. As an elder he wears the similar clothing as the Hokage. Hamura's partner in crime and when they were younger, lover is Kaharu Utatane. Kaharu's hair has grayed and she has aged gracefully. As a member of the elder team, Kaharu wears a simple long kimono, held closed by an obi, a jacket, and a sash over it. The pearls on her hair needle have also increased and tassels were added to the other end, her earrings are also considerably longer. Kaharu has taken to squinting, barely opening her eyes at any point in time. She was the first to speak. She asked, Sarutobi, may you please enlighten us as to why we are here for 1 and 2, why are the 7 swordsmen of the mist are in Konoha, without at least 3 squads of Anbu watching them. Oh, how Hiruzen was going to enjoy this. He said, well I have been doing paperwork for the last few hours and I've been thinking. You know I've gotten requests to kill poor Naruto-kun, give the civilian council a squad of Anbu to watch over them, hell I even got one that wanted to spread the wealth of the Uzumaki, Namikas, and Senju bank accounts. Of course I denied every request. Yet I thought to myself. Who do you think you all are? I am the Sandame Hokage. You guys are nothing but advisors and messengers. For example, civilian council, you have become a parasite. Now I'm an ice cage, so I'm giving you a choice. You can resign, get about 10% of the money you earned, and you can be with your families. Or you can stay right here and with your lack of skills to fight and be put in a coma or worse death. You have 1 second. As quick as their fat asses could take them, they split. Sarutobi still had that stern, serious look on his face. He slowly turned his head towards the shinobi council. They flinched at Sarutobi's gaze. He said, now since they are gone from this council, it's time to deal with you guys. I'm going to tell you this once I'm in control. I'm the head honcho, the big chief, the big Hokage. Remember, you are my subordinates. That means in the way Konoha runs you have absolutely no say-so. Your main job and obligation is to give messages to your clan and give me suggestions. The only ones who are excluded from this are Shikaku, Fugaku, and Hiashi. They are only excluded from this because of the fact that Shikaku is our main strategist. Fugaku and Hiashi are the leaders of Konoha's police forces. So if you think more important than me, you better pick up your clan and run because I'm not having it. Fugaku winced slightly, but not enough for anyone to notice. Sarutobi continued, now I'm going to tell a few things. The first thing is about the Ninja Academy. The rules are going to change. I don't give a flying fuck if we only have 1 genin come out of the academy. With the new assessment, they must learn more than 3 weak cast jutsu. If you want to pass, you must know more than spelling, math, and other stuff like that. They will be groomed as true blue ninja, just like it used to be. The Shinobi Council seemed to like this idea. Their forces needed skilled ninjas, not a bundle amount of half-baked ninjas. They shook their head in agreement. Sarutobi was not done. He said, now I'm going to tell you what's going to happen and you're going to shut up and listen. We are going to help the rebels in Kurigakure no Sato. The people with bloodlines and people who support them will be granted asylum in Konoha. Fugaku once again winced as this was a big problem in the Uchiha plans. So for now he will be thinking of what to do. But this being the case, I am allowing you to give me suggestions on what should we ask for in return. Remember that what you want is not necessarily what you will get. 2 hours later, the shinobi council has finally all left. He did notice something was off. Fugaku is normally a blowered request assigning requests and such. This time Fugaku was extremely quiet. It was too quiet for his tastes. He became suspicious as to why he was so quiet. He was getting an ulcer from the thoughts going through his head. As he was popping acid reducers, someone came into his office. It was an Anbu captain with a weasel mask on. Sarutobi then put on his stern leadership face. He said, "Weasel, please take off your mask." The Anbu took off his mask revealing Itachi Uchiha. He, like all members of his clan, possessed dark gray eyes, black hair that hung near his cheeks to frame his face, and a long ponytail in the back of his hair. Itachi's most distinguishing characteristics were the long pronounced tear troughs under his eyes. He is wearing his casual clothes that consist of a black Uchiha shirt with a large Uchiha clan symbol on the back and black pants with a weapons pouch strapped to them. Itachi said, "Hello Hokage-sama. I have something of deep concern for Konoha." Hiruzen noticed that this was deeply serious. Itachi was never one to joke around, especially with the safety of Konoha. Sarutobi just said one word, "Explain." Itachi said, "The Uchiha are trying to do a coup d'etat on Konoha. What they are doing is deploying members of the Uchiha clan to Kiri." Sarutobi cut him off for a moment as he asked, "What does the Uchiha want with the civil war in Kiri?" There is a rumor that Yugura has been under a genjutsu. It sounds like a likable story as of Yugura's past. He himself has a Kekkei Genkai. The Uchiha including myself have a superiority complex. With that being the case and the fact that Kiri has more bloodlines than Konoha. My father received a letter to deploy the members of the Uchiha family to Konoha to take over Kiri. If they take over they will come for Konoha next. They would have better metals, jutsus and so much more. This will make them more equipped to kill Konoha. Hiruzen surprisingly not surprised by this much. He has known that the Uchihas are not Konoha's real ally. The very thought that they will kill bloodlines to take over Kiri and then to Konoha made Hiruzen's ulcer worse. He said, "Itachi, what do you think we should do?" Itachi sighed, "I have been thinking about this for a while to be perfectly honest. This conspiracy has been going on for 3 years now. They just couldn't find a location or a plan to do it. I find that there is really no other way to stop it now without a civil war occurring. I know one way that can do it and I'm ready to do it." Sarutobi could tell that the emotionless Itachi had full of emotions in his statement. This made Sarutobi curious as to what was Itachi's plan. He said, "Itachi-kun, what is your proposal?" "Hokage-sama, the only way to stop the Uchiha is to eradicate them." The Hokage's eyes widened considerably. That is huge. He could see why Itachi had such stress in his eyes. To kill your family, to save strangers that you don't even know is deep. Sarutobi asked, "Are you sure, Itachi-kun? No one is asking you to do this. May I ask as to why do you want to do this?" "Hokage-sama, I am truly sure. The reason I want no need to do this is because of what the civil war does to families. I was a young genin when the third ninja war ended. I was a Tokigakure and killed members of families. Some I even had to kill in front of them. It was hurtful to kill a child's parents right in front of them. When the Kyuubi went on a rampage in Konoha, I started to get flashbacks from the war and saw their deaths. I vowed to myself that if I were ever given the chance to stop it, I will do it at all costs. I have seen what happens to children of war. At least this way Sasuke Tauto will still be able to be friends with others than feeling that he himself is all by himself. I also have been under suspicion with the Uchiha clan for a while, especially since I unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan." Sarutobi had to admit that the third ninja war took a heavy toll on Itachi's mind. He sighed to himself. There has to be something he could at least give Itachi. He asked, "Itachi-kun, is there anything you want in return for this burden?" Itachi already knew what he wanted from the get-go. He said, "There are a few things I want. I want you to keep this a secret from Sasuke. I want him to purify the clan's name. Second, my Ka-san is dying a horrible death. Her chakra was tainted with the Kyuubi's destructive chakra. With the destructive chakra in her system, anytime she has used chakra she dies a little bit more. The only way she can be saved is to put her in those chambers that keep people alive as the chakra runs the course out of her body. I want her to be able to live her life not under a regime of being an Uchiha. The only other thing I want is for Naruto-kun to be safe and out of the village. I know that without me there won't be any Anbu to truly save him when he is being hunted down. After this massacre is done with they will blame him by saying that the Kyuubi took control or something like that. He shouldn't be subjugated by the acts of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. He was only a few minutes born, how could he cause that much destruction? That is the only thing I want." Hiruzen's heartstrings were being pulled. Itachi Uchiha, the man who will kill his whole family on one night, only wants 3 things. The boy, no man has made a decision that will forever change Konoha. He sighed as this massacre of every man, woman, and child practically will be on his old conscience forever. He only hopes that as he gets older that he might get dementia and forget everything. He looked at Itachi with a sad smile. He said, Itachi-kun, I agree to your terms. I will put your mother in that facility. I will not tell your brother about what you have done and let him believe he is the only one that can purify the Uchiha's name. And I will let young Naruto leave the village. I'm going to send him with the 7 swordsmen. I am truly sorry that it has to be this way. I wish there was an alternative. I guess we have no other choice. When are you going to do this? Itachi said, tonight. Naruto. An hour later, Naruto woke up after all the things he was taught today. He was taught how to unleash his chakra, how he could control it, although he wasn't able to do it yet from Jinan, some physical workout like push-ups, sit-ups and crunches from Zabu, some stealth training from Kushimaru, some censoring tips from Jinpachi, some fuinjutsu like sealing supplies from Mangetsu, and finally how to cook fish by Kisame. Right now he was going to Jiji's office to say goodbye to his new friends. As he walked with them he felt a sense of worth and belonging, but also a sense of foreboding. He walked into Jiji's office. Sarutobi said, hello Naruto-kun and the 7 swordsmen. Naruto-kun, can stay outside for a moment. Naruto nodded furiously and left outside. Sarutobi put his stern face on. He looked at the 7 and said, now that Naruto cannot hear us, we can get down to business. Konoha will help the rebels in your fight. We will give your people refugee here. We just want a few things from you guys. Amauri narrowed his eyes to see what the Hokage wants. He said, I'm listening. The Hokage said, well we just want a few water jutsus, a connection with a brand new Kiri, and finally the last one is more of a personal request. I want you to take Naruto-kun with you. I want you to train him and let him come back within 12 years or when he is done with training. Amauri's eyes bugged out a little bit. He thought that Konoha would ask for something totally asinine. All he wanted was some jutsu, a partnership and to train a boy who they all for some reason like. Zabuza and Kisame like the boy because they were treated like monsters. Kushimaru is lanky and sometimes as energetic as Naruto. Jinan likes him because he loved to learn. Jinpachi likes him because just like his distinct eye patch and black lips, Naruto also has distinctive marks on his face. Mangetsu liked him because he reminded him of his little brother Suigetsu. Finally Amauri likes Naruto because he is short. They have no problem teaching him how to be a ninja. Amauri said, this is very acceptable offer Hokage-sama. We accept. Do you want to tell Naruto or should we? Sarutobi pulled out 4 scrolls and gave them to Amauri. He said, right here are his clothes, some different techniques that he can learn. There are some equipment such as kunai, shuriken, and other weapons he may need. If he gets mistreated or killed all bets are off. Got it. Hiruzen put a lot of killing intent into his threat. They were all affected by it. Naruto who was outside with the secretary said, Secretary-san, why are you on the ground sweating? Amauri had to admit in Naruto's case ignorance is bliss. Amauri said, we understand Hokage-sama. We will let you tell Naruto. They got up and walked to the office. Let the Sandaime talk to Naruto. Sarutobi looked at the small 5-year-old boy with a sad smile. He was going to miss Naruto a lot. He was like a grandson to him. He told himself it was for the best for Naruto. Yet there is always that doubt that creeps in. He said, Naruto, how would you like to explore the world? Naruto jumped up and down. He said, can I Jiji? Really, can I go? Can I go? Hiruzen had a tear go down his face. He nodded. He said, Naruto-kun, I'm letting you go with Amauri and the 7 swordsmen of the mist. They are going to travel all around the world. You will learn some new techniques and how to be a super great ninja. Naruto-kun, I want you to have fun. I know you might get a little homesick, so I'm putting a symbol on you so I can talk to you whenever you want to talk. Naruto started to cry a little bit as the statement finally processed what that meant. He was not going to be with Jiji on his adventures. He hugged the old man as Jiji told that everything will be alright. Naruto wiped his eyes with his sleeve and gave the Sandaime a big, wide, toothy smile. He said, Jiji, when I come back you better be ready for me to take that hat away. After all I'm going to be Hokage, Detipyo. This made the old man smile. Naruto would be a great Hokage one day. He patted Naruto's head and sent him off. Later that night, as Naruto and the 7 swordsmen were leaving, something was coming in. Naruto walked away not knowing that the rain will forever wash away the old Konoha. As it has always been with soil, sun and water, a seed will always be able to grow. Naruto was walking with the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Well actually he is being carried on the back of Kisame. He was a little too small to jump from tree to tree. Plus his energy was low from the various training. He was slowly but surely falling asleep. Kisame looked over to Amauri and said, Aim, what are we going to train the Gaki in first? Aim thought about for a moment. What were they going to teach Naruto-kun? They all are going to teach him their personal styles. With this it includes physical training, throwing, chakra training, fuinjutsu training, eating correctly, and diplomacy which including the ability to read and write. He said, okay guys, Kisum brought up a good point. What are we going to teach Naruto-kun? How I see it, we are going to each teach him something an hour a day. Then I thought about making an alternate teaching schedule. I will write it down to show you what it is. For now let's get some rest at the nearest village. Well there I will be writing the schedule. I believe Naruto-kun here has the potential to be a swordsman. After all he is in Namikaze and in Uzumaki. The rest of the team agreed. Mindscape, Naruto was blissfully unaware of how his life is being scheduled. Right now he was in a sewer. For what felt like hours of walking he reached a point where he saw a single pipe. As he was walking around he kept seeing more and more pipes. Some pipes had a gel-like liquid that were red, blue, purple, and white. It was flowing into a big orb. As the orb was receiving the gel it pulsed. He walked towards the orb. As he touched the orb. At first nothing happened. Then it turned deeply red. It pulsed and forced Naruto back. He hit the wall and became unconscious. As he was fading away, a certain little vixen was peeking around the orb. Outside world, Naruto opened his eyes not knowing where he is. He rubbed his eyes to see if he sees anything familiar. He got out of the bed that he noticed he was laying on. He walked towards the door and opened it. He saw that Zabuza was waiting for him. He said, Zabu-Zabu-sensei, where are we? Zabuza's eye twitched. He really hated that nickname. He said, Gaki, let's get going. We're going to meet with the others. Naruto got out of the room and followed Zabuza. Naruto asked once again, Zabu-sensei, where are we? Zabuza replied, Gaki, we are in the hotel in Isu no Kuni, Land of Ice. The Land of Ice is a quarter of a way from Kurigakure. There are 4 lands between Kiri and Konoha. This is the first one starting from Konoha. The next one after it is Yugen no Kuni, Land of Lava. The next one is Nami no Kuni, Land of Waves. Then finally Jaki no Kuni, Land of Steam. The 4 are connected from Konoha to Kiri. The travel from Konoha to Kiri starts here. At the Land of Ice's peak there is lava. The ice here is special as it takes so long to melt. An average size boat of ice can last at least 5 hours on the lava. When the boat reaches the Land of Lava, the built-up ice around it causes a waterfall and waves. When you go down to the Land of Waves you start to see the Land of Steam. If you go down a little further, you will reach Kiri. Naruto's little bright blue eyes were wide as that sounded so cool. He little mind was thinking a question. He asked, Zabu-sensei, what is the river called? Zabuza replied, the river is called the River of 4 Corners or the Catalyst River. It is said that there is a land that's name escapes me, $5 internet for what land that is. It is said when that land well disappeared is the best way to describe it, the river appeared. The river is said to protect and hide the land. Now what I meant to tell you is your training regime. The Land of Ice has the average temperature of -21 degrees. This a perfect place to train. Naruto looked at Zabuza as if he was crazy. He stuttered, what do you mean that this is the perfect place to train? It is so cold outside. Zabuza had a shark eating, yes I mean shark eating, grin on his face, even though it is concealed by the wrappings. He said, that's the best part. The shivering cold will help you in your future training. Naruto was a little scared. He did notice however that it is extremely hot in the halls. Now as anyone with the slightest bit of common sense would want to know why. He asked, Zabu-sensei, why is it extremely hot in here if it is cold outside? Zabuza had to admit it feels actually pretty good to feel like a real sensei. The boy is a kid of curiosity. Usually that is in the middle of good and bad for ninja. He said, well Naruto, the ice that encases the hotel is the same that is used on the river. Remember most lava is stronger than fire. The fire is insulated by the ice as it takes a long while for the ice to even get a little melt. The fire's smoke actually gets purified. The smoke reaches a spinning filter that has the ability to clean and purify it. I have something enzymes eat it. Naruto exclaimed, so a big monster named Emjin comes and eats the smoke. That's so cool. Can we meet him? I want to see how he eats it. Zabuza looked at the kid like he was stupid. He realized that the brat was still only 5 years old. He thought about that the monster comparison is a way for Naruto to understand what's going on. He said, a little bit later Gaki. We have to make time for you to start your initial training. Half an hour. Naruto and Zabuza saw the others outside waiting for them. He was surprised that some of them were shirtless. He looked up at Zabuza with deep confusion. He asked, Zabu-sensei, why don't the others have a shirt on? Zabuza grinned and said, this is your first start of training you will receive. Go talk to Aim over there. Naruto hesitantly walked outside. He felt the cold brute force of cold air hit him. He jumped back inside as his little body was freezing. Amayuri shook his head as he sighed. He said, Naruto-kun, you have to come out here if you want to be a super great ninja. Naruto hid behind Zabuza shaking his head saying no. Zabuza was not one for games lifted Naruto up by his orange jacket. He walked outside with the shivering Naruto in one hand. He held Naruto up as Amayuri explained to Naruto the schedule they have for him. Naruto-kun, trust me, I know it's cold here, but if you want to be a good ninja, you must endure things such as frozen weather. With that point being said, we are going to teach you to train your chakra. If you train your chakra correctly, you can use it to do many things. People believe that you can only do jutsus and things like that. That is true, but it can also do some other things. Zabuza, bring him into the hotel. I will explain things in there. I want you guys to set up your training stations. Zabuza simply grunted his response. He carried Naruto, who was looking like an icicle, into the hotel, then dropped him. Naruto rubbed his backside as he just realized falling hurts. Amayuri came in and said, Naruto-kun, come here for a minute. Naruto walked over to Amayuri and plopped on the ground. Aim saw that he had Naruto's attention, started to speak. Naruto-kun, you saw the others shirtless and not affected by the ice. The reason we weren't affected was because of the manipulation of something called chakra. Do you know what chakra is, Naruto-kun? Naruto shook his head. Amayuri explained, Naruto-kun, chakra is an essence of life. Think of it as a big gel-like battery. You know how toys have that battery that makes it start? Well, that's what chakra is. If chakra is a big battery, then it has more uses than using jutsus, right? Naruto nodded yes. You're right. Think about it as taking the battery out of your toy and putting it in another toy that uses the exact same battery. Well, chakra is the same way. Chakra is the power source that makes jutsus work. Yet Naruto-kun, chakra can be used as an external heating system. Remember when I taught you to unlock your chakra and it took form? Well, it is the same way. You can control your chakra by doing various types of exercises. For example, from what I've heard, Konoha meditate leaves, kunes, shuriken and various things like that. I do know, however, that they do something called tree walking. In Kiri it's so much different. Sure, we both learn the ability to walk on water. The initial stage is different. In Kiri, we do temperature changing. Temperature changing is a much more harder to do. You see, with the change of chakra you can make it as a thermostat. You can make the chakra make your body extremely hot or extremely cold. With a mere low use of chakra you can make your body cold as ice. With the use of more chakra you can turn your body as hot as fire. Naruto seemed to understand. He knew what a thermostat was because the matron of the orphanage used to grab him and show him the thermostat and put it at 0 degrees. She then closed the door on him and left him to freeze. He started to shake his head to try and forget the memories. Unknown to Naruto, Amayuri saw the wince that Naruto did unintentionally. Amayuri noticed that Naruto tried to forget, so he didn't say anything. He continued, Naruto-kun, we are going to start this training by going outside. We are going to unleash our chakra and try to harness it. I want you to hold my hand so you can feel the change in temperature. Naruto grabbed the man's hand. It felt normal, like a 73-degree temperature. As they stepped outside, Naruto felt Amayuri's chakra rise. In addition, he felt the man's temperature rise. His eyes became wide in surprise. Amayuri smirked as Naruto thought this was so cool. He said, okay, Naruto-kun, unleash your chakra. Naruto unleashed his chakra as asked. Amayuri released Naruto's hand. Naruto's chakra blew up. His chakra was all around him, glowing a deep blue. Yet the look of Naruto's face showed how much chakra he was using. His face was sweating as his chakra was extremely hot and was starting to burn the ice. Aim put his hand on Naruto to get Naruto's attention. Naruto stopped unleashing the chakra as his concentration was broken by Aim. He looked up at the man and said, Aim-sensei, is that how it's supposed to be? Aim had a smile on his face and tapped him on the shoulder. He said, Naruto-kun, you've gotten the initial part. You see, you released your chakra and kept it from coming down. You see, you must be able to keep your body's temperature at the exact same degree. The heat must expand to every part of your body. That's what makes it so hard. You must channel chakra on every part of your body. When you are able to do this, you can climb trees with no hands, as your body will be able to change how much chakra or battery power you need. Naruto beamed as he got a part of it down. He went into concentration and started to work on the task at hand. Yet the more he concentrated, the more his head started to throb. It wasn't from the concentration but something even more devious. Kurigakure, in the Mizukage's office, two people were plotting and planning. The first one was standing up. He was the current Mizukage, Yagura. Yagura has messy gray hair, pink pupilless eyes, and what seems to be a stitch-like scar running from under his left eye all the way down his cheek. He has a dull expression and wears a gray undershirt with short mesh sleeves, which has a metal plate of a Kurigakure forehead protector sewn onto it, over which he also wears a green poncho, a turquoise sash around his waist, paired with a green ingement over his pants. He wears a pair of brown boots opened on the back, and on his back, he carries a staff-like pole weapon with uneven hooks with a green flower on the end of the larger hook. He said to the one sitting down, my lord, is the plan going as planned? The person who had his head down had a huge smirk on his face. The person did not look up as he knew everything was coming to fruition. All he needs is the key to come out of hiding. He said, why yes Yugura-kun, everything is going according to place. The world will be under my control. Now the Uchiha clan's destruction is crucial. They were merely in the way. Poor Itachi-kun having to sacrifice himself by killing those stupid fools. Unfortunately it will all be for naught. Konoha's demise is around the corner. Then the world's demise is next. We are going to work on taking out the rebels. We are to unleash it. It will definitely draw them out. Hopefully they will bring the key to me. The person started to laugh maniacally. His lone eye showed the boy with the blonde hair. Naruto felt like passing out. The chakra control was extremely hard to do. If it was easy then everyone and anybody can be a ninja. Since that's not the case, it's not easy. Naruto opened his eyes as he was starting to get it. Yet as he was forming his chakra into a heater, his headache grew. It was getting worse and worse. It was until he passed out on the floor that the pain stopped. Luckily Naruto able to get in safely by Kisame. 2 hours later, Naruto woke up to see the seven looking into his face. Kisame was the first to speak. Gaki, you okay? You passed out on the ground. What happened? Naruto put his hand on the back of his head. He said, well all I remember is that I was changing the temperature. Once I was starting to get into it, I started to have pains in my head. It got so bad that I fell back and went sleep. That's all I remember. Mayuri started to have suspicions with this headache. He put it aside for now as it was not as important. He said, okay, Naruto take a rest for the remainder of the day. Tomorrow we will work on your physical fitness, eating habits and seals. For tonight I will let you eat whatever you want. Naruto was surprised as he was going to learn different things. He always wanted to learn something. His stomach did growl though as he was hungry. He said, I want miso ramen please. Kisame gave Naruto a predator-type grin. He put his hand on Naruto's small shoulder. He said, Gaki, from what I've seen your body physique you have been deprived of your nutrients. You also have been eating lots of ramen. Don't worry about eating ramen tonight. Tomorrow will be a different story. We will get you back into healthy shape in no time. Naruto looked up at Kisame and asked, Nasame-sensei, I have a question. Why are you the one who is teaching me about foods? In addition how do you know so much about food? The 7 swordsmen except Kisame groaned. With the exception of fighting, Kisame loved talking about food. No matter if it is seaweed or a turkey or even a whale. If you can cook it, Kisame knows about it. Kisame said, Gaki, the 7 swordsmen of the mist are more than just plain old swordsmen. We all have other abilities and responsibilities to the 7. Zabuza is the physical instructor. He makes sure we stay in shape. Mayuri is the diplomat and overall leader of the group. Kushimaru actually sews our materials such as armor and clothing together, especially during battle. Ginin is actually a fully licensed blacksmith who has the ability to make metals and create weapons. Jinpachi is able to sense anyone with a bloodline to create an invisible force field that can make us more aware of our surroundings and things like that. He also our team medic. Mangetsu is the seal master of our team. He is able to create seals that can make weapon animate like the Samahata and the Hiramekure. He can also create seals that make the Kubikirabacho repair itself and the splash survive 1000 explosion tabs and not get a single scratch on it. Me on the other hand bathe a different responsibility. I am the team's cook. I can cook anything and everything. With me being the cook, I also have the responsibility to be the team's dietitian. I am to make sure that the team stay healthy and doesn't get poisoned by food. I also know what is edible and what's not. I can also tell you what you need to eat and how to convert calories and carbs into energy that can be that extra boost. So overall Gaki, we all have a job to do. We are not only going to teach you Kenjutsu and chakra control. We are going to teach the other specialties that we have. So Gaki don't worry your malnourished body. We are going to get you into shape and get you ready to be the greatest Hokage. Naruto jumped up and yelled, yay, I'm going to be the greatest Hokage to ever exist. Detibio the 7 looked at Kisame. None of them knew Kisame could be charismatic. He just shrugged his shoulders as he himself didn't know. This boy has started to bring out different sides of them that didn't know existed. As time has gone on Naruto is slowly changing for Gaki, brat, to a Tauto, brother. Naruto woke up at 5 a.m. As he stretched he saw a notice right on the desk next to him. He grabbed it and saw it was instructions or a schedule. It read 5 a.m. - 7 a.m. Physical fitness with Zabuza 7:10 a.m. 9 a.m. Cooking with Kisame 9:10 a.m. 12 p.m. Sealing with Mangetsu 12:10 p.m. 1 p.m. Lunch with the team 1:10 p.m. 3 p.m. Sewing with Kushimaru 3:10 p.m. 5:30 p.m. Blacksmith with Jinin 5:45 p.m. 6:25 p.m. Dinner with the team 6:35 p.m. 7:35 p.m. Medicine with Jinpachi 7:45 p.m. 8:45 p.m. Diplomacy with Mayuri 8:45 p.m. 9:45 p.m. Playtime with any member. Naruto looked at the note. He noticed that he only had a few minutes to get ready and get to Zabuza. He took a quick shower. He ran out of his hotel room. He ran as fast as he possibly could. He cut corners and turned to see Zabuza outside in the training ground just behind the hotel. His eyes went wide as he saw he only had 1 minute to make it there. He ran his little heart out and made it just in time. His heart was pounding hard. He was panting really hard. He also noticed that the training ground here is actually quite hot instead of cold. He looked at Zabuza. Zabuza had an impassive look on his face. He looked at a watch that Naruto didn't know he had. He said, "Ready for training, Gaki." Naruto nodded his head saying, "Yosh, I'm ready for anything you can throw at me." Ouch. Naruto stopped speaking as he felt a weapon hit him. Naruto looked up at Zabuza with wide eyes. Zabuza simply shrugged. He said, "I thought you were ready for anything I throw at you. Lucky for you it was only a blunt kunai. Now let's start your training. Come here, we are going to start by doing 50 push-ups. They will be 5 sets of 10. Ready, begin." Naruto dropped down to the ground and started to do incorrect push-ups. Zabuza stopped Naruto and grabbed him up. Naruto looked at Zabuza in surprise. Was he doing the push-ups wrong? This is what he saw some of the jonin do. He said, "Nazabu-sensei, is that how we are supposed to do it, right?" Zabuza just sighed as he shook his head. He noticed that Naruto wasn't taught physical training. It looks like all he could do was run. Yet even then it was more of a survival run. It wasn't a proper run. He sighed as he wondered what did this boy do to get this treatment. He said, "Gaki, a push-up is having your feet together, your butt straight, not poking out, and making sure your body doesn't hit the ground. Like this." Zabuza got on the ground and showed him the proper way to do it. Naruto's eyes went wide due to the fact that he realized his mistakes. So the 5-year-old followed his new sensei. He adjusted himself to the way Zabuza was positioned. As soon as he got it, Zabuza yelled, "Stop!" Naruto promptly stopped. He said, "Okay, Naruto, I want your body to be able to learn this position. So for the next 2 minutes you're going to stay there. Every time you fall you will start all over again. Starting now. Go." Naruto stood there trying to be as strong as possible. This unfortunately lasted about 30 seconds when Naruto started to tremble. 15 seconds later he couldn't hold and fell to the ground with an oof. Naruto had a disappointed look on his face. How was he supposed to be Hokage if he could not stay in a single position? He could not even do a single push-up right. Naruto snarled, which sounded like a small roar, and got back into position. Zabuza on the other hand didn't expect the boy to stay there for 2 minutes. After all, this was his first time. If was able to do it he would be extremely surprised. He did however like the fact Naruto had determination to get up and try again. It has been about an hour now and Naruto has been making progress. He can hold it for a minute 45 seconds. His sweat was beating down his bony chest. His determination showed that he would not stop. This made Zabuza extremely happy. Zabuza, unlike many people, like the student who didn't get it the first time, but they kept trying and trying until they got it right. They were called hard workers. They don't stop because they couldn't do it. They will not have a pansy student. Nope, with the influence of the 7 and the desire to be Hokage, Naruto will be a hard-working, powerful ninja. He smiled at that. Although it is always a dream to be a powerful ninja, it is much better to have a student that became even more powerful shinobi than you. You will go down as the teacher who taught the best. He said, "Naruto, it's time for you to go to kiss him. He most likely will be in the kitchen. Tomorrow we will work on some other stuff. Don't be late. If you are late by even a second I will make you run 50 laps around without stopping." If Naruto was intimidated by this statement, he surely didn't show it. He had a determined look on his face. He said, "Hi, Zabu-sensei, I will be here earlier than today." He did a salute and ran out to his next destination. Zabuza had a happy grin on his face. He said to himself, "The boy is going to be great if he keeps this up. We're going to have to humble him before he get big-headed." Well, back to work. Zabuza stood on his middle fingers and did vertical push-ups. Fusu was patiently waiting for Naruto. He knew Naruto had some time to get here from the training ground, but still. He saw Naruto coming in the kitchen panting. Kisum had a toothy shark grin. He said, "Naruto, welcome to Shark's Kitchen. Here is my domain. This hotel is actually owned by us, so we all have our own special place to train and do our specialty. Now here is where I will teach you how to cook and everything that comes with it. Today's lesson is more of an introduction. When I teach how to cook, I do more hands-on training. But because you are a little gawky, I won't do that just yet. I don't want you cut yourself with a knife." He laughed at the end. Naruto thought that was just messed up but didn't say anything about it. Fusu continued with a serious face, "Now Naruto, you are going to learn food language or lingo. The words that must be instilled in your brain are calories, carbohydrates, sugars, fats, sodium, and protein. These are the words of the day. These are what's supposed to be in your diet. I am going to explain what they all do, starting with calories. Calories are units of measurements for energy, specifically heat. Calories are the potential energy that we store in our bodies to use for other things. Human beings need these calories to survive. We use these calories to make our heart pump blood, our lungs breathe in air, etc. Yet as in anything, too many calories can be a bad thing. As I said, it stores inside your body. If you don't do anything like exercise and sit around, or if you eat more calories than you use, you get well fat. Fats are not exactly easy. There are two different kinds. One is called saturated fat. That is the bad kind. They are carbon without being double bonded with hydrogen. You don't need to know what that means yet. They are used in cooking oils and things like that. Unsaturated fat are the double bonded ones. They are the good fat that stores your fat. It helps us for a just in case moment where we have no food. He went on about carbs, protein, and the important things. He needed to tell Naruto a truth. He said, "Now Naruto, the reason you are malnourished is because of the fact that you have not been eating, or you have not been eating the right thing. From what I have noticed from the way you carry yourself, it seems like you only have been eating ramen. Don't get me wrong, I don't have any problems with ramen. It is really delicious, but too much of it will raise your sodium levels and you don't get any nutrients." Naruto's eyes went wide. How could Kisame tell that just by looking at him? He tried to say something, but nothing came out. This gave Kisame the ability to give his toothy grin. Kisame said, "Gaki, I bet you want to know how I can tell just by looking at you. It's pretty simple, but right now is not the time. Well, since you learned the most important thing about the cooking, I will teach you some of my Kenjutsu style." Kisame pressed a button under the kitchen table. Suddenly a wall behind the table was lifted up. The table slid to the right, giving Naruto and Kisame a pass through. Naruto's eyes opened up in surprise. He thought that kind of stuff happens in the movies. In the room, the floors were separated by land and water. Across the walls was a clear glass aquarium. The aquarium had sharks of all types swimming around. On the back wall there was an open scroll with a kanji symbol on it. It said shark summoning. Below it there was weapon racks that had different weapons from a spear to a scimitar. Naruto's eyes were widened by this room. Kisame smirked as Naruto was absorbing the room. Kisame said, "Gaki, welcome to Shark. Shark stands for Survival Harness Abilities Realm Killing. Don't worry about the killing part. In this room or well for me realm I train with the sharks. I use the sharks for combat as they are versatile. Their mere nature is to kill." Naruto looked at Kisame with wide eyes. He asked, "Same sensei, why sharks? What made you say, okay, I'm going to train with sharks?" Kisame laughed as he said, "Now that's a story to tell. It begins with my family ancestry. The legend goes that there was an almighty shark demon. He well mated with my ancestor and the rest is history." Naruto whined, "Same sensei, why was it so short? I know it was more dramatic, action or something. Come on sensei." Kisame had a tick mark on his forehead. The boy wanted to pry his family history. Or did he want a bedtime story? He shook his head and sighed. He said, "Gaki, I'm not going into detail. Anyway, right over there is the shark summoning scroll. Heck, if you're good enough I might let you sign the scroll and summon them." Naruto was confused as he never seen a summon that he could remember consciously. As a result he said, "Nah, what do you mean summoning, same sensei? What is a summon anyway? What can you do with a summon anyway?" Kisame's eyes started to twitch. He could not get his head around the fact that Naruto, a kid from Konoha, did not know what a summoning was. For Kami's sakes, the Sannin, Sandame, and even the Yondaime had a summoning contract. He had a small frown on his face. He said, "Naruto, a summoning contract is a contract in which an animal or something bonds with you. Sometimes you are able to summon weapons. Now I won't go much into it because this is not the class for that. In fact, it's time for that class in 15 minutes. Next class we will work on stealth and swimming. Now get going." His room is all the way upstairs. Naruto made a two-finger salute to his sensei and ran. Kisame just shook his head as Naruto was very energetic. Kisame smirked as he pulled out a fish out of the water. He said to himself, "If this isn't karma, then I don't know what is." Naruto made it up the stairs. He saw Mangetsu sitting in the lotus position. Mangetsu's eyes were closed as he was concentrating. He knew Naruto was right in front of him. He said, "Naruto-kun, sit down in lotus position." Naruto did as he was asked and wondered what was in front of him. Mangetsu smirked as he said, "It seems like you want to know what all this stuff in front of you is." Naruto's eyes went wide as Mangetsu did not even open his eyes to make an observation. Mangetsu once again smirked. He loved doing this to his Itato, Suigetsu. Suigetsu was always creeped out by it. Mangetsu said, "I bet you want to know how I can observe you like that. Well Naruto, welcome to the world of Fuinjutsu. The world of seals is an intricate part of the ninja world. It is unfortunately a dying trade. The world of sealing is so amazing. For example, you can make a sword sentient or you can make explosion tags and so much more. Before I go into deep understanding of sealing, are there any questions?" Naruto thought about it for a moment. He remembered what Kisame sensei said to him. He asked, "Jetsu sensei, how were summoning scrolls created? How can you create a bond with animals? That's so cool. How many bonds can you have with animals? How many summonings do you have? By this time, Naruto was jumping in excitement. Mangetsu just shook his head. Yup, Naruto is just like Sagetsu. He started to laugh as he started to answer Naruto's questions. He said, your first 2 questions will be answered when you get older. The way to summon takes a while to understand. The next question about how many bonds you can have is easy to answer. You can have 100 of them, but you must be extremely talented and everything has to be aligned. Normally a person has 1 or 2. I personally have 1 contract, the alligators. Naruto was surprised that you could have 100 of summons. Mangetsu continued, Naruto-kun, the art of Fuinjutsu is not an easy skill. The prerequisite for Fuinjutsu is A. The ability to be precise, B. The ability to use chakra, C. To understand the concept of failure, D. The ability to see everything for what it is and what it isn't. That means the notion of ignorance as bliss must be thrown out of the window. These are things you will eventually learn and unfortunately experience. As a result of these prerequisites you can't learn Fuinjutsu yet. What we will learn today is the origin of Fuinjutsu. Later I will teach you precision of kanji symbols. Okay Naruto. Naruto nodded. He was slightly disappointed that he won't learn the full art of Fuinjutsu, but hey, he is only just 5. So to learn anything about it is amazing. So he looked Mangetsu in the eye and was ready to learn. Mangetsu smirked slightly. He coughed and started to speak. He said, okay Naruto, the world of seals is used all around the world. For example, hand signs. Hand signs are actually seals that use the zodiac symbols. Now the word seals is an acronym or word that is made up of the first letter in a group of words. Seals stands for symbols exhibiting anomaly of life sustainment. What this means in a nutshell is that seals are mere symbols that were given the ability of life. Now remember when Amaeri taught you that the main life force of the world is chakra, what does that mean Naruto? Naruto thought about it for a moment. His eye went wide in realization. He said, if seals are symbols that are alive, then that means that it has chakra. But if that is the case then how is it possible for symbols to hold chakra? Is it special ink, paper, or what? Mangetsu replied, very good observation Naruto-kun. No, it is not the ink or the paper. It is actually the person and the symbols themselves. For example, if you write high, fire on a piece of paper and add chakra, nothing happens. Yet if you write heat and then add chakra to it the paper will get hot. Naruto understood it somewhat. He was not one without questions. He asked, why is that heat can make it so the paper can be hot, but the fire can't? Well, it is simple yet complex, Naruto-kun. You see I can make it so fire can appear but it is not easy. You see contrary to popular belief that seals use complex kanji words, they actually use basic words. But the words must flow to get what you want. Now some words have the ability to hold in more chakra than others. For example, the word combust does not have the ability to hold the same amount of chakra as the word explode. Now with that in mind we are going to start writing kanji and calligraphy. These 2 arts will help your seal training. Let's start by writing simple kanji words. Your strokes must be perfect. I don't expect you to get it at first, but he was stopped mid-sentence as Naruto was actually drawing beautiful kanji. It was amazing how each stroke was practically perfect. It was extraordinary that a 5-year-old can draw so well. When Naruto finished the kanji, it said Godame Hokage. Mangetsu was very surprised. This kanji sign looked amazing. It looks like Naruto was talented and a natural at seals. Then again he is the Yondaime Hokage's son and an Uzumaki. Still this is an amazing thing. He said, Naruto that's beautiful. When did you learn how to write kanji? You know it's not easy to write kanji perfectly. Naruto beamed at the praise. He said, well when Jiji was away this one time I saw a book that said, the art of kanji. I started to read it and was hooked on it. I tried to copy one of the kanji and got it down my first day. It was my very first accomplishment. As I got better I saw 2 more books just like it. So ever since then I carry the books with me. He pulled the book out of his pocket. The book's covering has a circle with different kanjis forming it. On top of the circle there was an X formation made up of kanjis. It said on top of the X, the art of kanji. On the bottom it said, by Jiraiya, the Toad Sage and Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash. Mangetsu could not believe it. These books are the creations of the 2 greatest Fuinjutsu masters to ever exist. He tried to open his mouth to speak, but couldn't. Right in front of him, represent the past of Jiraiya, the present of Minato, and the future that can be Naruto. He would never take those books away from Naruto, as it is the honor of being a Fuinjutsu master to never take from another master. They are Naruto and hopefully with his guidance, Naruto will be the best seals master to exist. 6 months later, the 7 swordsmen and Naruto were about to leave Iso no Kuni. But before they could leave they were giving Naruto a birthday party. The workers and people at the land of ice loved Naruto. He was a big bundle of joy who brought a smile to their faces. Today was his 6th birthday. Naruto Uzumaki was enthusiastic as he could possibly be. His other birthdays were not exactly the best. His birthday was a reminder for the people of Konoha of the great Kyuubi no Kitsune. So for the events of that day he was the people's punching bag. He never knew why and never was able to find out before leaving with the seven. He got dressed up by the local tailor with the help of Kushimaru of course. He has an orange shirt on with a red tie on. He on black dress pants on with a black suit jacket that has an orange stripe going down the middle. It also has a kanji that said, Seven's apprentice that was done by Naruto with the help of Kushimaru and Mangetsu. He loved how it looked on him especially with his new figure. Since Kisame has dropped his consumption of ramen down to once a week, Naruto has started to grow naturally. He learned which fats were good and the one that isn't. He is also able to outrun a baby shark barely. Zabuza has been working Naruto to the bone. Now Naruto has some mass in his arms and legs. His chest is becoming a six-pack but not there yet. His whole body in general has grown with the help of Jinan. The blacksmith training exercised all of muscles. Naruto's dexterity has grown also with the help of Kushimaru. He has started to use sewing needles to sew. Kushimaru showed Naruto how to repair seams and creases. He also learned somewhat to be patient. Of course he is only 6, so his patience is only so high. He has also learned to tell degree burns, spotting poison ivy, where the organs are, and things of that nature. He learned all of this from Jinpachi. He learned how to speak correctly and talk to people overall and analyze people. He of course loved to talk to people as he was never able to do that in Konoha. He found out Maria, the waitress there at hotel used to be Kiri Ninja. She was a genin that was experimented on and lost her ability to use chakra. She thought he is one of the cutest kids she has ever seen. Naruto just smiled wildly. He reminded him of AM. Well, back to the point, Naruto asked Kushimaru where are they going. Kushimaru smirked under his mask. He said, you'll see Naruto-kun. It's a surprise. Naruto felt something in his stomach. He knew something was going to go wrong but doesn't know what it is yet. Meanwhile, in Konoha, the Sandaime Hokage was putting some new laws into effect. He was surrounded by the teachers of the academy, clan leaders, and the members of the elders. He cleared his throat at the podium. He said, ladies and gentlemen, today is the 6th anniversary of the Kyuubi no Kitsune attack where we lost loved ones. In addition, 6 months ago we, the people of Konoha, lost a whole clan. This loss has affected us all in different ways. As sad as it has been for us, we must not let this destroy us. In fact, we are going to grow from this. As it has been shown, the effects of the last ninja war has made us become lax. Then the event of the Kyuubi no Kitsune has dampened our forces immensely. Now the Uchiha event has made us feel powerless. We are weak because we believed that nothing could defeat or kill us. These events are evident of the fact we are not as strong as we perceived to be. Do not fret, my friends and family. There is a silver lining to this. You see, this has woken us up to something. We are now able to fix the problem. That starts with the Ninja Academy. The academy has been the cornerstone of ninja assessment. We have been lax in who can participate and how you can pass. With this being said, there will be changes. The first thing is there will be an entry exam. The exam will consist of the former genin test. They have to know the henge, kawamiri, and the bushin. If your child can't do it, then they are not in the program. There is no one that will escape through. In addition, the curriculum has changed. The boys and girls who has extremely low chakra will learn medical ninjutsu. Mostly the girls will learn it. It will take away the flower pressing. It can be elective if some others want to take it. Also, we are going to take away some of the work. We are going to get the young people into shape. That means we are going to take out that gossiping home education and replacing it strategic planning. The shop class is being replaced with weight training. These laws will be put in effect this upcoming year. It is just a mere coincidence that this starts the year of the clan heirs. To those who wonder why the teachers are here, they have to prepare themselves. They are going through a test themselves. They will be tested to see if they can teach your children. This is not for them per se, but it's for the lives of your child and possibly your whole line. May Kami protect Konoha as it has done before. All hail Konoha. The people cheered as a new revolution has come to Konoha, their home. Meanwhile, one person had a smirk on his old wrinkling face. While Sarutobi was talking to everyone, he received a message in his ear. It said, Danzo-sama, my lord, we have found the boy. Do you want us to proceed with Operation Fox Hunt? Danzo smirked, he whispered, yes, but be cautious. Failure is unacceptable. Back with Naruto, Kushimaru took Naruto to the party hall in the hotel. He said, Naruto-kun, I meant to ask you. What do you want for your birthday? Naruto thought about it for a moment. He could not for the life of him think of what he would want for his birthday. He could get a toy, sure. He could ask for a kunai set or something, but for the life of him he could not think of anything. He said, Kushi-sensei, I can't think of anything. Well, Naruto-kun, opened the door. Naruto, oblivious to the what's going on, opened the door. When he opened the door, he saw everyone in the hotel yell, surprise, happy birthday Naruto. Naruto was extremely shocked. He was definitely surprised as this was his first ever surprise birthday party. In fact, this was his first birthday where he wasn't attacked. He was so enthusiastic that he was literally jumping off the walls. He was at least staying on the walls. The people were chuckling and laughing. Naruto was extremely exuberant. His eyes saw that there was a big pile of presents on the table. Naruto looked at Kushimaru with a plea of "Are they mine?" Kushimaru put his hand on the 7 apprentices' head and ruffled it. Amaeri came out the crowd and said, "Everyone, let's sing the happy birthday song." As everyone started to sing it, Naruto's happiness grew. He had a party going on. He sees a load of presents just for him. Hey, when you got so many people celebrating your birthday, what could go wrong? Some came out of the back bringing in vanilla cake with orange frosting on top. On the top it had the Uzumaki symbol with writing on the top and bottom. The top said happy birthday. The bottom said Naruto. Naruto was jumping up and down. This is the first time he has ever experienced a day like this. They let Naruto cut the cake with Kisam's supervision. Naruto had an ear-splitting grin. He saw that they wanted him to start opening the presents. He went over and saw the first thing was from Maria. He opened his present to see the finest kunai, shuriken, and senbon set from Kiri. In addition, he got a pendant with a light blue ice-looking droplet. Naruto had a tear going down his whiskered face. He ran to Maria giving her a big hug, saying thank you repeatedly. The next present he got was from Amaeri. He opened a box to see a ball. The ball was black and has lighting strikes around it. Amaeri said, "Naruto-kun, put some chakra into it and think of something, anything." Naruto nodded and poured chakra into it. The electricity created a sword that looked like a scimitar. Naruto's eyes went wide as it was so cool. Naruto swung the weapon and heard it cackle. Amaeri said, "Naruto-kun, that ball is called a transformer. It transforms into many different weapons. Not only can it be used as a weapon, you can also use it to shock people. It can use up to 30,000 volts. In addition, it can only be used by you. It won't ever shock you because your chakra activated it." Naruto loved it as it changed different forms with his chakra. He put it in his pocket. Naruto decided to open up his next present. It was heavy, so Naruto guessed it was from Zabuza. He was right as the tag said, Zabuza. He opened it to see a bunch of weights. They were arm weights, leg weights and abdominal weights. On the weights there was a number. Right now the number was on 1. Zabuza explained, "Gaki, those are gravity force weights. They are not gravity seals but weights. The number on the weight specifies how much gravity is applied onto you. If you put the weights on, you can activate how much gravity you want by saying G1 or G2 etc. These weights will help your mass and acceleration. That part is where the force comes in. The force is a stronger weight. It helps by adding more acceleration and mass. It makes you faster and heavier, so you will have a harder impact. To activate the force weights you must say F1 or F2. Naruto loved it. He wanted to build up his mass. He went on to his next present. It was small gift. It looked sharp and pointy. But there was also a feel of a piece of paper. Naruto saw it was from Kisame. Naruto opened up and was surprised at what he saw. He saw an array of different knives. The knives were not what caught Naruto's small blue eyes. It was the piece of paper. On the parchment it had the kanji for summon. Naruto looked up in wide eyes. Kisame started to speak, "Well, the shark's leader, Sharpedo, like how Naruto outran one of his sons." He was so impressed that he thought that it would be great to let Naruto over here summon his youngest son so they could grow up together. Thus making a connection between Naruto and the sharks. Naruto was jumping up and down as he was happy that he would be able to summon. He thought it was so cool when he saw Kisame summon sharks. Naruto put that in his pocket. He went on to his next present. The next present took the form of square. It is from Jinpachi. When he opened it he saw a medical kit. When Naruto opened the kit it had different seals on it that said surgery, repair, and other things. Naruto was surprised as he saw that on it was an eye patch. He put the eye patch on to see what it does. The eye patch activated. The eye patch from Naruto's point of view showed a radar. Jinpachi explained, "Naruto-kun, the medical kit has everything you need for any type of situation. Now the eye patch on the other hand is a new revolutionary device. It has the ability to use a radar, infrared, chakra signatures and more. All you have to do is put chakra into it and think which one it is." Naruto actually liked the eye patch. He could see people's body heat and everything else. Naruto then started to open up his next present. The present was kind of heavy. It was from Jinan. He opened it up to see a portable weapon making kit. It has a portable lava pit in which you put chakra into to create a substance that is like lava. It also had different ways of making different weapons such as katana, scimitar, and other powerful weapons. He was even given a booklet of explosion tags. Jinan said, "Naruto-kun, this is the portable weapon making. This is where you will learn how to build weapons. We will also learn how to use explosive tags. We won't build a specific weapon for you just yet but very soon." Naruto was bursting with glee. He has been thinking of all the stuff he has gotten. He is looking at the other gift. The gift was extremely long. In addition, he saw not one but two uniforms. Next to the uniforms he saw a box-like present. He opened up the two uniforms first. The first was the 7 swordsmen's attire. It came with the wrappings, striped boots, striped arm sleeves, the chest armor, even the mouth protector. On the back of the armor there is a tradition of the person's title. For example, Kisame has on his DS representing Demon Shark. Zabuza has Dom representing Demon of the Mist. Naruto will now be donning 7A on his back. The 7's apprentice. The second uniform is a fencing uniform. It is all white with white pattern stripes around the body. It seems like the uniform will fit all. Kushimaru started to explain. Naruto, let me explain the uniform form for you. This is a fencing uniform. It consists of this, a form-fitting jacket which goes between the legs. A small gorget of folded fabric is sewn in around the collar to prevent the blade from slipping upwards towards the neck. Plastron, an underarm protector, which goes underneath the jacket and provides double protection on the sword arm side and upper arm. The armpit cannot have a seam, which would line up with the jacket seam and provide a weak spot. One glove for the sword arm with a gauntlet that prevents blades from going up the sleeve and causing injury, as well as protecting the hand and providing a good grip. Breeches or knickers, which are a pair of short trousers. The legs grip just below the knee. Shoes with flat soles and reinforcement on the inside of the back foot and heel of front foot to prevent wear from lunging. Finally, you have the mask. The mask has bars go in front of the face to protect your eyes and visual. Got from Wiki and some of my friends. Now open up the other present. When Naruto opened it, he had stars in his eyes. It was a sword. The sword that has the word saber. He opened the box to see a sewing machine. Naruto once again looked at Kushimaru once again to explain. Kushimaru said, Naruto-kun, what you have there is called a saber. The saber is used to train and fight against opponents in the sport of fencing. This sport is a style we use heavily for my style. You jab, stab, slash and so much more. There are 3 types of sword fighting for this sport. You have the foil. A light thrusting weapon that targets the torso, including the back, but not the arms. Hits are scored only with the tip, hits with the side of the blade do not count. Only a single hit can be scored by either fencer at one time. If both fencers hit at the same time, the referee uses the rules of right of way to determine which fencer gets the touch. The second is saber. The saber is a light cutting and thrusting weapon that targets the entire body above the waist, except for the hands. The saber is primarily used to slash, so hits with the side of the blade, as well as the tip are valid. Finally, you have the epee. Epee is a heavy thrusting weapon that targets heavy the entire body. All hits must be with the tip and not the sides of the blade. Epee allows simultaneous hits by both fencer. I will teach you how to fence and fight. The sword you have there is able to change forms. We will practice along with the practice of sewing kit that you opened. The final gift Naruto got was from Mangetsu. The present was small and compact. Naruto opened it up to see an advancement for seals. Not only that, but it also had a scroll of summoning. Naruto noticed it was a chakra scroll from the classes by Mangetsu. He put chakra into the scroll to see a painting of the 7 with Naruto that said happy birthday. There were pockets that you put his new weapons. Naruto was so happy about his gifts. Even as he marveled at his new gifts and weapons, his headache started to get worse. He felt this was good to be true. He doesn't know what it is, but something is going to happen. All of a sudden a burst of smoke filled the room. Everyone went into mass hysteria. The 7 were looking for Naruto. Naruto on the other hand was met by 2 swords at his neck. The one said, Naruto Uzumaki, you will be coming with us. Naruto felt the cold blade on his neck. He heard the cold dark voice of the man who wanted him. He started to sweat as he hasn't been in this situation in a long time. This time though he calmed himself down as Amayuri had taught him and tried to break some of the tension. He said, come on guys, would you really do this a kid's birthday? The tension broke somewhat. Yet with Naruto those few seconds were all he needed. He did a backflip breaking away from the cold blades. The mysterious guy swung his blade as if he wanted to behead the blonde-haired boy. Luckily for Naruto the shark training came into fruition. He ducked and kicked the guy in the gut. The guy bent over as Naruto kicked him in the head. This caused the man go down with an oof. That gave Naruto the ability to run. As he ran the mysterious ninja started to corner him. He started to ride the walls yet they followed him. When he reached the ceiling he was totally surrounded. They said, Uzumaki, you are surrounded. You are to come with us immediately. Now you can do this the easy way and surrender peacefully. Or we could do this the hard way and you will be hurt and have a lot of broken bones. Your choice. Naruto pretended to make a choice. Naruto then smirked as he said, why are you guys so heated? Is it that a little kid beat up one of your own? You guys need to take a chill pill. Naruto unleashed his chakra and made the air ice cold. The air made the mysterious ninjas feel frozen. This gave Naruto the ability to jump down and delay their time to catch him. But the 7 Maori was able to dissipate the smoke bomb. There were roughly 30 masked ninja. The 7 always came prepared. They put chakra on a seal that was on the inside of their wrist. With a puff of smoke their swords appeared. Maori said, "Okay guys, I don't know what they want but take them all out except one, so we can interrogate him." They split up and started to attack. Maori pulled out his twin lightning fangs. He put one of his sword in a reverse kunai position and the other was in a striking position. He said to his opponents, "I don't know what you want, but I will tell you this. You won't make it out here alive." He came at the striking the first one on the chest with the kunai-style sword. The person flew back. With the momentum Maori hit the other one with a kick to the chest of the other guy. He pushed off of the guy's chest as if it was springboard and slashed at the guy's neck. The attack missed, but it did create some spacing for Maori. He realized that it is going to take more than just slashing attacks to beat these guys. He smirked. He loved using his fangs. He poured some of his chakra into the swords. He clashed them together causing a spark. With the spark it caused an electric charge line go in between the two swords. He said, "Well guys, you see these babies right here. They conduct high amount of voltage. Let's say about 30 to 40 volts. One shock is going to send you away, far away. So let's begin, shall we?" With that Maori flicked the electric charge whip at the one on the right. The guy tried to protect himself with his shield, only to realize that the metal didn't repel the electricity. The voltage coursed through the poor man's body. After Maori finished with the guy started to smoke. Maori smirked as he went after the other 5 who were stunned at what happened to their leader. Maori flung the line whip at the others. They dodged the assault just barely. It was just a ploy as another Maori came to the scene and did a spinning kick in the air into their faces. The original Maori gave the Mizukage the other fang sword. The electric connection broke only for the electricity power up the sword. The two Amaris came at them and struck the one on the left in the head and the heart. They went after the other ones who tried to use the substitution. Instead of substituting he was caught by an lightning bolt from the Mizukage. The voltage was coursing through his body. It was hitting every nerve in his body and made the pain intensify. The guy screamed in pain until the Bushin stabbed him in the back of the head. The man dropped to the ground lifeless. As the others were trying to survive they felt a surge of lightning released from Maori. As soon as they heard the crackle of the lightning took a shape. A dragon burst out with lightning all around. Maori said, "Now you die, Raiden." "Sure, I know Ryu, lightning style. Lightning strike of the lightning dragon." As he said this the lightning dragon that formed from his 2 fangs came and struck every member of the mysterious ninjas. It was so powerful that it turned the ninjas to dust. Maori sighed as he said, "That was easy. Too easy if you ask me." Maori saw something shine in the dust. He scrunched down and picked it up. He dusted it off to see a symbol. Maori's eyes went wide in surprise. It was Konoha forehead protector. Why would they attack an ally? Maori's eyes then narrowed as he realized what or who they are after, but why? He started to run as he looked for Naruto. He said to himself, "Where is Naruto?" Kushimaru was surrounded by 5 guys. He smirked as this was a daily fight for him. He pulled out his needle sword. He said, "Why hello gentlemen, how are you today? We have a house special today from our best chef, Kushimaru. Our special for today is 5 types of death. One will be sliced into 13 pieces. The other will have his organs on the floor. The other will bleed out all over the floor. The other will be paralyzed then killed. The final one, well, that's a surprise." He started his assault starting with the first one. The first strike was targeted for the arm, missed only for him to spin under him and slash right above the knee. The top of his knee was slashed off. The man screamed in pain as he was starting to fall. Kushimaru then went under the man's arm, grabbed it and sliced it at the elbow. He then proceeded to cut the rest of the arm from the shoulder. He was so skilled that he even cut off the poor man's hands. He did the same to the other arm. He left the man with 1 full leg, a half of a leg, a torso, a bottom and a head. He went back to his assault and cut the final piece of the first leg. He did it to the other leg and cut it in 2. He then cut the man from the bottom, leaving him as a torso. Then he finally beheaded the guy. He said, "Come on guys, I thought group and numbers always trumped individually. Oh well, if you're going to stand around then you might as well stand side to side. You forced me to pull out my sword, now stop being little bitches and fight me like a man." After he said that, he executed the 3rd type by doing a special attack. He pulled out a single sewing needle. He said, "Hijutsu. Nobari issue. Secret art. Swarms of sewing needles." With this Kushimaru changed from 1 man to what looked like over 100. They started to attack the man in what felt like the 8 trigrams of the Hyugas. Kushimaru started it off by saying, 2 needles lodged in the mysterious ninja's right arm, 4 needles, 2 needles lodged in his left arm, 2 lodged in his left shoulder, 8 needles, 2 needles lodged in his right shoulder, 3 needles lodged in his right thigh, and 3 in his legs, 16 needles, 3 needles lodged in his left thigh, 3 in his legs, 1 in both of his knees, 2 in his left biceps, 2 in the left triceps, and 2 in his left kidney, 32 needles, 2 needles in the right biceps, 2 in the triceps, 4 more in the left biceps, 4 in the biceps, 2 in his right kidney, 6 needles at the ribs on the right, 6 at the ribs on the left side, 4 in the right pec, and 4 in the left pec, 64 needles, 4 in the clavicle, 5 in his right wrist, 5 in his left wrist, 10 in his left foot, 10 in the right foot, 3 in his right thumb, 2 in his right pointer finger, 3 on his right middle finger, 2 in his right, 2 in his right pinky finger, 3 in his left thumb, 2 on his left pointer, 3 on his left middle finger, 2 in his left ring finger, 2 in his left pinky finger, 2 lodge deep into the sternum, 1 deep in the liver, 1 in the pancreas, 1 in the head and 1 in the stomach. The guy screamed in pain. Kushimaru just held his hand out. The guy looked closely at the man's hand to see a faint blue chakra string is going through it. The man's eyes went wide as he tried to stop it. Kushimaru said, "Too late." He pulled his hand back, releasing the needles from the man. The man exploded as the needles took all his chakra from his body. Kushimaru twirled his sword and said, "Next, Zabuza." Zabuza's opponents were pretty much done as he killed them with a swipe of the head cleaver. Right now though he was looking for Naruto. He was searching everywhere. He saw Amayuri and asked him, "Have you seen Gaki?" Amayuri shook his head. He said, "We got to find him. He is the one they want." As they searched the perimeter, they killed some of the squads that were barricading them from finding them. Zabuza threw his blade at the members, killing them instantly. As they kept going, Zabuza had a question. "Aim, who are these people? What do they want with Naruto? He's just a 7-year-old. Aim explained as much as he could, "These guys are from Konoha. From what I have gathered they are the Na division. The rumor is they don't work for the Hokage, but someone named Danzo. They are supposedly the true ninjas that void their emotions. They are like drones and only follow orders." Zabuza's eyes went wide. To void all emotion seems almost impossible. He said, "What do they want with Naruto though? He's the exact opposite of their beliefs." Zabuza, remember what Naruto is. He is the son of the Yon, he is the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune, and he is talented in the art of Fuinjutsu. Imagine if uses all that power as a drone. He will kill everyone and anyone without a bat of an eye. Now also imagine that kind of power with the manipulation of Danzo. It is a recipe for disaster. Zabuza realized how bad that can be. His determination to find the boy has went into overdrive. The boy is like family. He is the little brother he never had. He is for damn sure that Root will not take the boy away and make him a drone. Root better watch themselves. They got a pissed off Zabuza on their tails. Mangetsu shook his head as his opponents. They thought that they could use seals against him in battle. He smirked as he pulled out his signature sword, the Hiramekure. He said, "Okay guys, you want to play games? Okay, we'll play games. The first one to get struck by this sword dies." He swung at the members of the newly named Root. They blocked with their ninjato. Mangetsu pushed them off as he whirled around and hit one of them in the chest. The person disappeared in smoke. The person came from behind and almost struck Mangetsu. Mangetsu rolled out of the way and threw a kunai at the member. The member dodged the attack easily. He did not notice however the seal tag on the kunai. It exploded in the man's face. This gave Mangetsu the ability to get up and kick the man in the face. He used the momentum to jump up in the air, do a backflip and throw weapons at the rest of the members. The kunais landed in front of the Root ninja. The kunai started to glow and exploded in their faces. They covered their eyes only to hear a big heavy weapon come at them. They ducked the attack and came with a kunai to the chest of Mangetsu. He backflipped and got out of the way. He sent a piece of paper at them. It was sound-breaking noise. It caused the members of Root to go down on their knees and holding their heads. Mangetsu's sword started to transforming into a raging tidal wave. He swung the sword with a tidal wave flowing through. The Root members jumped back, all except one. That one got caught into the sea of man-eating fish. The sword started to drain the water and the man into the sword. There was no trace of the person as the forehead protector was on the ground. Mangetsu said, "Now boys, do you really want to mess with this? The sword has the ability make a water tornado that sucks a person into the sword. The person's chakra is also absorbed into the sword's chakra. So who's next?" No one moved as Mangetsu scared the hell out of them. He came at them with blinding speed. He struck the member of the Root team on the right. They tried to defend, but it was of no use. He struck the person right through the chest. Instead of blood coming out, the person's body became like water. He did a diagonal cut across the upper part of the torso. He then touched the body and it became water. He said, "That is its other ability. Instead of cutting a person, the sword turns them into water. Once again the water gets absorbed into the sword. It becomes even stronger chakra. Now let's play the game where I kill you. You have approximately 5 seconds to leave or face my beautiful sword's wrath." He counted his fingers to 5. Since no one left, he shrugged and went after them. One by one they fell to the almighty manjutsu. He sighed as he pulled out his water bottle. He drank to keep his body stable. He looked at the forehead protector and frowned. He needed to find Naruto quick. Naruto ran far away. He was cutting corners as he did when he first met the seven. He didn't want to fight them as he knew he wouldn't be able to fight them and survive. He ran as fast as he could. He saw that they were hot on his case, so he made it to the front of the hotel, hoping there would be people there. He was unfortunately wrong about that. He did however saw an advantage up on the ledge. He put Chakra onto his feet. He ran up into the ledge and waited for them to get here. He pulled out the kunais that he was given for his birthday. His heart was pumping as fast as it could. The sweat was dripping down his burning face. His hands shook. The reason is if everything goes right, he will have killed someone at the age of 7. Just the thought of killing at the tender age of 7 made acid grow into his stomach. He just had to wait. The one root member that came was tall and brute. He grunted as he could not find where Naruto went. He separated from the group as getting a 7-year-old should not be a problem. He grunted out in his deep dark voice, "Uzumaki, get out here. I'm done playing around with you. Either you come out right now or I will find you and make sure your body will be in pieces." Naruto's heart thumped as each word escaped the root member's mouth. He made a decision that will change his life forever. He got up the nerve to get up. He slowly and quietly made it to the end of the ledge. He did not make a noise as he decided to jump. He jumped all the way from the ledge. He put both of his hands onto the kunai. A tear fell as this is the end of his innocence. He lodged the kunai deep into the skull of the root member. Think of Ezio from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. When the root member's body hit the floor, it made a sound that alerted the rest of the members where Naruto is. He heard them say where he was. He tried to run until hit into someone. It was Maria. She held his mouth shut. She whispered, "Naruto-kun, be quiet. Look, I want you to run as fast as possible. I'm going to hold them off just long enough for you to get away. Follow the roads outside. This might be the last time I see you, okay? I want you to be strong and become a great ninja. I want you to be an even greater person, okay? Promise me, you won't kill or any of that because you like it. Do it to save your family and friends." Naruto shook his head. He saw her have a tear going down her pretty face. She hugged him tight and told him to leave. He hated how weak is that he could not even protect her. He hoped she survived. He could only hope. Maria tried to stop them. The real reason she stopped being a ninja was because she barely has any chakra left. If she does any chakra-based jutsu she will die. She said to herself, if I'm going to die a ninja, I will do it protecting my friend. Suiton no jutsu, water style. Water dragon bullet. She used her ultimate attack. It formed as a dragon and hit the root members. They were able to survive the attack with Karamiri. She fell to the ground dead. They disrespectfully stepped on her dead body. Naruto turned around to look to see if she survived. He saw her die and it was all his fault. His anger grew. His arms shook back and forth. Tears came down freely. His chakra bursted as his rage and anger grew. He closed his deep blue eyes. In a moment, the root members surrounded him. They started to make comments about how easy she was to beat and that if he didn't give up he will be just like her. They put their swords around his neck. Naruto started to speak quickly that they could not understand. Naruto's chakra finally blew up. He opened his eyes and then it happened. Amaeri and the rest of the 7 felt the chakra burst. They ran as fast as they could to get to Naruto. When they finally reached Naruto, they saw Naruto on the ground with his bangs covering his eyes. Naruto has a kunai in his hands. The root members were on the floor dead. Naruto said, "Nisans, older brothers, I think it's time for me to learn how to fight. We are gathered here today to celebrate the passing to the next life for Maria Teruya. Maria was born October 9, on the year of the 500th dragon. While she was alive she was a genin from Kurigakure no Sado. After she retired from the Kurigakure's armed forces, she worked at the 7 Swordsmen of Mist's own hotel. She was killed as she saved a child from a group of enemy ninja. She had no living family. The money and things she had saved will go to the boy she saved per her request. She will be remembered not for her services but what she did as her quest to being a ninja. May Kami have mercy on her soul," the priest said to all the people in the hotel. Some people were grieving as they could not believe a young soul that was full of life die in a blink of an eye. Yet there was another soul deeply hurt by this, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki had his head down with his bangs covering his eyes. He was unusually quiet for the first time in his young life. It was hard for him to accept someone died for him. Sure, he heard that Bruno Mars song before, but he never thought that someone would actually do that for someone. His tears fell on the floor. His arms shook as they did when she saw it herself. The clear tear that was his innocence is on the floor. He got up and walked out of the funeral. He couldn't see her like this, unbreathing and dead. As he walked through the heavy amount of people, he accidentally bumped into someone. He looked at the person he hit into. The person from what he saw has grayish black hair with green eyes. He mumbled to the person, "Sorry sir." The person looked at the boy and frowned. He said, "Hey kid, what's your name?" The boy stopped to say, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki." The man's eyes went wide. He closed them quickly for Naruto not to notice. Naruto was too depressed to even notice. The guy went down on one knee and said, "Hey kid, I hear you had a birthday yesterday. I've got something for you. Think of it as a belated birthday gift." The man gave Naruto a wallet. It was a green frog wallet. The man put a kanji inside the mouth of it and a kanji on the bottom of it. When Naruto touched it, it glowed for a moment, then it went back to its natural color. Naruto looked at him with a look. He shrugged and said, "Thank you, I never got your name." The man smirked and said, "One day Gaki, will you know my name? Trust me on that." Naruto looked at the man and sighed. He said, "Okay, Mr. Well, I guess I'll see you when I see you." Naruto just walked away in his deep dark depression. The man was beyond angry. His hands were shaking. He disappeared in a swirl of leaves. There is someone he needed to talk to and he was not taking no for answers. Naruto was walking outside. He saw the world in cold dead light. He saw the cloudy sky as the rain fell. He put his head down. He wondered how many more will die until he becomes strong enough. He started to get so angry at himself. His palms were bleeding from his nails digging into it. He started to run. As he ran there was a voice in his head that said, "That's right Naruto, run. That's all you can do. You are nothing and all you are is a weakling. Just keep running as everyone you know will just keep dying because they were associated with you." The tears were falling down even faster. He started to believe it. How could he try and be someone if all he does is run? He was running at what felt like hours. He finally stopped as he reached his destination. He reached the place where the ice meets the lava. The steam was coming up at the ledge. He sat down right there on the ledge. He looked at the river of lava. He saw the land and ice melt and mush together into the lava. He just kept looking hoping to find something. He just sat there slumped on the ledge. He started to wonder if life was even worth it. Sure he could keep training, but what is the point? He has been training his heart out, but who will it help? He edged closer to the ledge. He was so close to going in until he heard a voice. "Gaki, what do you think you're doing?" Konoha. Sarutobi was smoking a pipe. He laid back in his chair. Right now he has no problems going on. He has no paperwork on his desk. He didn't have no worries yet. A black bird came in with a letter on his claw. As he was about to read the letter someone came in and the person did not look too happy. It was Jiraiya. Jiraiya was a tall man with extremely long and spiky black and white hair tied back into a ponytail. He also had red lines that ran from his eyes and wore a horned forehead protector with the kanji for oil on it. Jiraiya wore a green short shirt kimono and matching colored pants, under which he wore mesh armor that showed out of the sleeves and legs of his outfit. His outfit was completed with hand guards, a simple black belt, wooden sandals, and a red cloak with two simple yellow circles. They were towed with a sword red to strike under the yellow circles. He also has one on the back with a picture Gamabunta with his Kadachi in a samurai stance. He has the words above Toad Sage. He has the official Toad summoning scroll on his back. He has his custom-made Kadachi hanging on his right hip. He closed the door behind him. He had a serious look on his face. Sarutobi said, "Hello Jiraiya-kun, what is it you need?" Jiraiya closed his eyes and held his right hand out on the side of him. He gathered chakra around his open palm. It became a swirling ball. He said, "Sarutobi, I'm giving you 10 seconds to give me a reason why I shouldn't put this Rasengan down your motherfucking throat." Sarutobi blinked once and said, "What?" Jiraiya went on to say, "I was just at the land of ice. Now tell me why while I was there was a party. Now I love a good party." The party itself was for a small brat. So I knew there would be MILFs there most likely. Then I heard the kid's name. The name was Naruto and he was around the 7 swordsmen of the mist. I said to myself, nah Jiraiya, it can't possibly be the same brat. Then I saw he looked just like his father. So tell me Sarutobi, why the fuck is my godson is with the 7 swordsmen of the mist? I was supposed to be his care provider. Yet, I see him with the 7 swordsmen of the motherfucking mist. So Sarutobi, you have 10 seconds to explain how the fuck this happened or you will have reconstruction surgery. Sarutobi's eyes narrowed. He said, "Is that a threat Jiraiya?" Sarutobi put as much kai into his question. Jiraiya didn't even notice. He was too pissed off to actually give a damn. To him it was lower than a baby's tantrum. Jiraiya's eyes started to glow. He said, "Sarutobi, you know and I know you can't beat me at this stage. You might be strong, but you are of no match to me right now, so start talking." Naruto looked over to see Zabuza right behind him. He sighed as he saw Zabuza come sit down with him. Zabuza put an arm around Naruto's shoulder. He said, "Now I hope that you weren't actually thinking about taking the plunge, were you?" Naruto just lowered his head a little bit more. Zabuza sighed. He knew it was going to be hard for the boy, but this is just insane. He said, Naruto, there is no reason you should kill yourself. I know it must be hard to experience it at such a young age. It was going to happen at some point though. I know yesterday you had your first kill and you saw a friend die. Unfortunately it is the way of life. We all are going to die. We most likely will see a person you like or love die. It is a painful thing, but it is all about how you deal with the fact. I'm going to tell you a few stories that will show you what I mean. There was a kid who showed an extreme amount of talent. He was trained in the academy with all of his friends. He ate with them. He drank with them. He trained with them. They became friends and created a bond with each other like one big happy family. Well, when the boy turned 9, the teachers did something heinous or bad. He had to fight his classmates and had to kill them. He killed his whole class at the age of 9. Naruto's eyes went wide. He couldn't say anything because he didn't know what to say. As a result, Zabuza started to continue. Naruto, that was me. That was the genin test for Kiri. It was one of the reason we were called the Bloody Mist. Trust me when I tell you every single one of us in the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist went through it. Now the only way we keep sane is by having a hobby. For example, Kushimaru sews, Kisame cooks, I exercise more than usual, Jinpachi collects herbs, Jinin creates weapons, Amaeri reads and sing, and Mangetsu well he plays pranks on everybody. Usually people have other hobbies, but those hobbies are lesser forms of evils. They are called vices. For example, some people smoke, drink, read porn in public. I can't judge them as that is the way they cope. Our personal code as we are a brotherhood is not to have a vice that is unproductive to our team. That is why we didn't train you how to fight per se. We needed you to get some hobbies to look at and do before you started to kill. We wanted you to find a way to cope and not break down like you were about to do. We just were a little too late. Now the question is, what are you going to kill for? What I mean is, what will you kill for? Naruto had to think about it. He put his head down. He said, Kiri, the true leader of Kiri was smirking his face off. He said, well Naruto-kun, how nice of you to activate it. Heh, all things are going to plan. Although, that Maria might have been a little wrench in the plan as she started a foundation of those being precious to you. It's just a mirage. There is only 2 types of people. The strong and the weak. Yugura, how is the purge going? Yugura growled slightly. He hated how Naruto has become the catalyst of everything. He hated how all he could see was Naruto becoming the first hand to the master. Why was the master so obsessed with a little boy? From what he knew, the master is not a pedophile. Yet what did Naruto have that he didn't? He said through his teeth, everything is going fine. We have unfortunately not found any living Uzumakas around. What are you looking for with the Uzumakas? What makes them important? The master looked at Yugura and held out his hand. He forced Chakra into it and pointed it at Yugura. Nothing happened at first, then Yugura started to scream in excruciating pain. He fell onto his knees in pain. As soon as it began, it ended with a flick of the master's wrist. Yugura passed out on the floor. The master was simply apathetic about his servant being on the floor, passed out on the floor. He said, you should never question my goals, foolish boy. Now on to part B. He pressed a button under his desk. As soon as it was pressed, 3 people came in. The 3 had black cloaks concealing their identity. He said to them, start part B immediately. The next day, Naruto was at the training ground where he saw his senseis waiting for him. Although he was ready to train, there was a clear indication that Naruto still was depressed. He saw a kunai coming at him at a fast rate for him. He was able to dodge and throw a kunai back at them. Naruto had a kunai out to protect himself. Zabuza said, good, you're actually awake. Okay Naruto, you asked us to teach you how to fight. Well, that's what we are going to do. We are going to incorporate our fighting styles into our skills and abilities. For this to happen, you must give it your all. At the end of the day, for the next few years you will be exhausted, pain-filled, and tired. But you will also be stronger and more powerful. That means you better get ready because here we come. Zabuza shot right at Naruto. Naruto barely had time to register what was going on. When he did register, he saw Zabuza slow down significant. He saw Zabuza pull out a kunai, a blunt one at that, in slow motion. Naruto was able to adjust himself by spinning around and clashed with Zabuza's kunai. Zabuza was deeply surprised by Naruto's ability to block. Zabuza then adjusted himself so he could face Naruto face to face. He pressed the kunai's blade with Naruto's. Naruto himself was feeling the mass power of Zabuza. He remembered a lesson from Jinin. It is when something has a lot of pressure peering down at you, that means that they have a weakness or unbalance at their center. Naruto thought about it, as long as Zabuza keeps pushing him down lower to the ground, he has to exert so much force leaving him open. He got Zabuza to get as low as possible, then he struck. He using the dexterity from Kushimaru's sewing training to swipe Zabuza in, twirl inside Zabuza's center, and elbowed him in the stomach. Zabuza oof, only to feel Naruto try and fireman lift him. Zabuza put his weight on Naruto to hold him down. It seemed to work as Naruto was struggling to pick up the big brute. Naruto instead pulled out a needle and remembered from the train with Jinpachi that there is a spot on the back of the knee in which you could make it bend. He poked the apex of it, not only making it bend, but making Zabuza say obscenities that would make a sailor blush. Naruto was able to lift and throw him. Zabuza said, "Good job, Gaki. Where did you learn your taijutsu from?" Naruto replied, "Well, actually I used what I learned from you guys. I learned from Jinin that if a person is applying pressure onto someone, that person's center is open and weak. By making you put so much pressure on me, you gave me an opening. Then with the dexterity that I learned from Kushimaru-sensei, I was able to spin in and went in and used what you taught me to punch you in the stomach. When I noticed that I couldn't lift you up, I hit you right into the back of the knee and flipped you over." Zabuza grunted, then he laughed. He said, "Kid, that is pretty impressive. I never thought that the Gaki would use what we taught him to fight." He jumped up and got back to his feet. He grunted as he bended his knee. "That hurt like hell." He said, "Hey guys, what did you think of the fight? What are his strengths and his weaknesses? What are we going to work on with him?" Amayuri was the first to speak. "Well, Naruto-kun here obvious ability to use what he is taught for other than practical use. With that it will be great to train him. Now on the other hand, Naruto, you were not aware of your surroundings. You could have easily have grabbed the weapons over there or so many other things. We need to train you in looking around in your surroundings." Kushimaru was the next to speak. "Well, I loved how Naruto used his knowledge of the human body. It is a big thing when you are able to lift Zabuza up on the floor. That is a serious plus. Now for your weaknesses, I see that you are off on your spins. You made yourself wide open on the spin. You must be a little bit quicker. What to work on? Well, you have a few flaws that must be fixed, such holding the blade, cutting someone and how to dodge." Jinin went next. Naruto showed the ability to be agile and limber in battle. That is his plus. Now as to your strength. You are able to show some strength in fighting. Your weakness is that you only use it in one area. What you must work on is the stretching of your area. Jinpachi said, "Naruto, well, the small exhibition is a small sample, it is more than enough to see something. Well, the first thing I see is the fact that you are able to use the medical knowledge that I taught you in more than just medicine. What I didn't see is that at the end, you did not disarm Zabuza. When you don't disarm your opponent you will get hurt." The final one was Kisame. Kisame said, "Well, I guess you guys saved the best for last. Well, the Gaki's strength in this little scuffle is that he can transfer different focuses. What everyone did not notice or see is Naruto's reaction time. Zabuza came at a speed in which most 7-year-olds can keep up with. Now what I personally didn't like is the fact that you didn't slice that big muscle brute up. On a serious note, your weakness is the way you conducted the battle. Maybe it's because you didn't consider Zabuza a threat to your life, but it definitely showed. It is a cause for concern since that lack of the intent to kill will get you killed." Zabuza had to agree with Kisame with that last part. He said, "Naruto, what Kisame said is true. I remember when I was a genin, I beat this jonin because I was little and didn't take me seriously." Naruto mumbled under his breath, "Yay, okay, you were probably born this way. Maybe those steroids I know he takes is the reason he has no eyebrows. If that jonin didn't take that behemoth seriously, then I dare to see his height." Zabuza's eyes and ears started to twitch. He grunted, "What was that, Gaki?" Naruto's eyes went wide. He forgot that they could hear almost everything. He looked up to see all the 7 were gone except Amayuri and the behemoth. Naruto quickly ran behind Aim to stay safe. That was until Amayuri burst into a puff of electric particles. This left Naruto alone with the behemoth. Naruto was sweating his ass off. Surprisingly, it is not because of his vigorous training schedule. No, it is because of the heat of being on the boat going towards Yagen no Kuni, the land of lava. The boat ride lasts about 2 weeks. The ice is being sustained because the molten simply isn't strong enough to melt it. Naruto couldn't exactly deal with the lava and its ultimate heat. He said, "Man, it's so hot in here. When will we reach Yagen no Kuni?" Zabuza was sleeping on the deck. He even grunted while he slept. The others were talking using their hand signs. Amayuri said, "Do you think we should create it here?" Manjetsu said, "Not yet. We will be at the land of lava for about a good 6 months. Let's see his progress before we do anything." Amayuri sighed and leaned back. Amayuri kept thinking about if Naruto saw the forehead protector. He thought about the repercussions of such of an event. He sent a letter to the Sandaime that some of his ninjas attacked. He hasn't received anything back yet. He knew that he will get something back soon. He didn't know what's going to happen next. He shook his head to get the thoughts out of his mind. He looked around to see what his band of brothers were doing now. Kushimaru was sewing himself a pillow to put his head on. Jinpachi was looking with his eye for intruders or enemy ninjas. He became even more paranoid after the incident. Jinin was smoking a cigar and talking with the sailors. Kisame was eating his homemade ration bar. Manjetsu was drawing a kanji, painting, or a seal. Amayuri didn't know for sure. They heard the sailor say, "Yagen no Kuni is right ahead." Naruto exclaimed, "Finally." Yup, Naruto is back to his old self. Naruto was jumping up and down. He has every right to, as this is a turning point for Naruto Uzumaki. Konoha. Jiraiya stood there in front of his leader. His face was impassive and blank. He just finished his great conversation with the Sandame. He closed his eyes for a moment thinking of something to say. He said, Sarutobi, you know I want to kill you right here and now, but I realize that it would hurt my image. I might be a smut rider and go deep into the underground, but to kill you here and now would make me become lower than almost anything. I simply can't kill a pathetic old man. I surprise myself on how many times I could have been killed because I decided to keep people like you alive. You just told me that I need to be outside the village to make sure Naruto doesn't get hurt by the likes of Iwa. Then if you think about it, what would Iwa want with Naruto as they don't know who the hell he is? I was the stupid one there. Then when I thought about it, maybe I could check on him every once in a while, and for the life of me I couldn't find him. I never thought I could be so stupid as to not look into a hospital. After all, it is so natural nowadays to find a kid in the hospital for over 100 stabbings. How stupid of me to not think of taking him with me. It would have been much better. That is once again my fault. Even after all that, you come here and tell me that you practically gave Naruto up to the 7 swordsmen of the mist. They are practically the most dangerous non-cage team to ever exist. Now I'm wondering what they could ingrain into Naruto's young mind. With all the potential Naruto has, you gave him up. What's worse is that you didn't even notify me about such event. I could have had my contacts watch him. 6 months blindly walking around thinking my godson is fine. Then I get a message from one of my informants, Maria, telling me that a boy with blonde hair and blue eyes over there. So I go there and they're throwing a bash for young Naruto. Then I find out that not only did he have his first kill, but my informant, who became friends of some sort with the boy, died right in front of his by enemy ninjas. What's worse is that the assailants were none other than Konoha ninjas. Yay, Sarutobi, it was our own trying to kill our own. Now how does that work that the group of Kiri ninja has to save a native of Konoha no Sato from Konoha ninja? And for some reason you though that I wouldn't find out about his disappearance. You have to be the most pathetic person that could exist. Because how am I to protect Naruto if I don't know where the fuck he is? Don't worry though, Sarutobi. Because I'm about get the hell out of here and I'm going to follow Naruto. I'm making sure the boy will be safe. Don't try to stop me. If you send a ninja after me, well, let me make something clear, they will be in a body bag. I'll make sure of that. If something happens to Naruto, well, let's hope it doesn't happen. Jiraiya jumped out of the window and disappeared. Sarutobi's eyes were wide. Which Konoha ninja attacked Naruto? He saw a scroll on the desk left by Jiraiya. He opened it to see a Konoha forehead protector. He sighed as there was nothing he will be able to do. If you don't have a body to tell who gave the orders, or was it that they did it by themselves? He saw the other letter from Mayuri. He opened it and started to read it. His eyes got wider and wider as everything Jiraiya said about the battle was true. His anger grew and he needed a release. Sometimes he believed that Jiraiya could be a blowhard and exaggerate the truth. Yet if Mayuri's story coincide with Jiraiya, then it's time to start investigating. He kept reading the scroll. He saw a word that made him stop reading. Nah. His chakra exploded. Everyone outside felt the chakra of their Sandame explode. Some passed out on the floor. Some were on their knees. The one affected most was his secretary. She almost died, literally. Her lungs lacked the oxygen. He calmed himself as much as he could possibly can. He said, Mizukage, bring me Danzo immediately. Naruto and the 7 landed on Yaugen no Kuni. Naruto naturally wanted to jump out and go. Mangetsu grabbed him by the collar and brought him back. Mangetsu put his hand over Naruto's mouth. He whispered, Naruto, you got to be quiet. Naruto simply blinked, indicating he didn't know what was going on. Mangetsu sighed as he pulled Naruto back onto the boat. Naruto noticed that the 7 were put something on. Naruto was going to ask what was it, but Mangetsu cut him off first. Naruto, it's time to learn a trick of the trade. Mangetsu pulled out a piece of paper. It looked harmless until Mangetsu said, Kai. The paper revealed about 50 to 60 kanji symbols and seal complex. He said, Naruto, right here is a Kiri ninja secret. This seal is a covering change seal. We put these on because a lot of people do not well like us all that much. So what we created is seal that covers, or a better term, masks our chakra signature. We can make it a small baby if we want. It is not easy as it sounds. You must concentrate all your chakra into the seal. It also gives you the ability to mask your appearance. That way you can get by without being noticed. Think about it, Naruto. Naruto, how in the world could we, some of the most powerful ninjas to exist, get into Konoha undetected? It is only as effective as to how much chakra you have. I'm going to put this on your back. Mangetsu put the seal on Naruto's back. The seal started to disappear into Naruto's skin. Mangetsu patted Naruto on his back to make sure the seal was on. He said, Naruto, to activate it you must put chakra into the seal like I taught you. Naruto had a question, Mangetsu sensei, why would I need one? No one really know me, so what's the point? Mangetsu said, great observation Naruto. The reason is this place has been on a lockdown for a few months. They are looking for people who has at least a genin level chakra. They are rumored to be taking the people and they disappear. We don't know what happens and don't want to. So if you don't want to get caught then make sure you don't lose concentration. Okay, Naruto. Naruto nodded. In the back of his mind though, he wanted to know what was happening to those people. He vowed that he will find out about it. He concentrated his chakra onto the seal. His appearance changed. Naruto's hair became black with 2 blonde streaks on the end. His eyes became black. His whisker marks disappeared. His whole attire became a robe with a lion on it, think of Gryffindor's robe. Naruto was looking kinda cool there. He saw the rest were ready to go. He started to walk into the village and he was slightly disturbed. He saw women on the floor crying as they can't find their children. The men were wearing tattered clothing as they were bending iron. As they kept walking he saw the guards peering down at him as if they were superior to him. He wanted to punch them in their faces, but he knew that would start a commotion. He looked up to see a castle across the river, actually it was a volcano. The place is called the Royal Palace. The Royal Palace is situated in a vast beautiful estate, filled with lush gardens and ponds. The wall encircling this estate separates the palace from the rest of the city. The palace itself is a single structure, an elaborate tower with triple eaves is at the center, with 3 distinct wings joining it. The 2 smaller wings stand on either side of the main entrance to the palace building. There are towers at the ends of these wings as well. Directly opposite of the main entrance is the 3rd, larger wing, which houses the Lava Lord's throne room. Naruto's eyes were wide. Mangetsu bent down and whispered into Naruto's ear, I know it's big, but don't make a scene. We're about to enter and convince the Lava Lord to stay here. You most likely will enroll in school here for a little bit. Don't do anything stupid. After a few minutes, they reached the palace. Naruto went inside and his eyes went wide. Inside, the palace is comprised of enormous halls and retains an intricate array of wings and chambers. Large tapestries line the walls, and elaborate fire-themed images and moldings are laid out all throughout the numerous sections of the structure. Naruto wanted to say something but couldn't. This place was better than Konoha's Hokage Tower. He looked around some more, seeing if there anything that he has missed. He saw that they were heading straight. Naruto saw they reached the throne of the Lava Lord. The 7 bowed as Mangetsu knocked down Naruto. Naruto bowed as well. The Lava Lord was outwardly smirking. He said, hello gentlemen, what is it that you need? Amaeri said, Lava Lord Ozai-sama, we are nomads from all over. We want to settle down and there is no better place than Yaga no Kuni. We have things to offer your land. We have different trades that can be influential to your land. The Lava Lord smiled as he said, how interesting. May I ask who is this little one is? Amaeri said, Ozai-sama, this little one is Naruto Uzumaki. Ozai's eyes went wide, then closed slowly. Inwardly, he smiled. This was perfect. He said, well little Naruto-kun, are you going to join the academy with my son, Zuko? Naruto said, sure Ozai-sama. Ozai's eye started to twitch at the name. He had a ghost of a smile. He said, well Naruto-kun, why don't you and your friends can stay at the palace here? It would be great for Azula-chan and Zuko-kun to have a playmate. Amaeri's eyes narrowed. The Lava Lord is never generous. This was very suspicious, but they should milk this for what it is worth. He gave the members a look suggesting what they should do. They came to a consensus, but Naruto beat them to the punch. Naruto said, sure that's fine. Naruto better be glad that the 7 chose the exact same answer, or else there might be repercussions. There still might be repercussions. Lava Lord's smile widened as he possibly could. He said, that is great Naruto-kun. Why don't you let my personal guard take you to Azula-chan's and Zuko-kun's playroom? The guard took Naruto to the place. Meanwhile the Lava Lord went on to talk with the 7. Sarutobi was calmly waiting for his guest to appear. He has something been too lax about the situation. He packed his pipe with the finest tobacco in Hai no Kuni. He lit his pipe as he waited. He heard his door shuffle open. It revealed Danzo Himura. Hiruzen calmly said, Danzo, please have a seat. Would you like a pipe? Would you like something to drink? Danzo said, no, that's fine. I have a lot of things to do after this meeting. Hiruzen took a puff of his pipe. He nodded as Danzo has much stuff to do. Hiruzen knew how he was going to start. He said, Danzo, do you know what today is? Danzo said plainly, March 2. Why do you ask, Hokage-sama? Hiruzen once again nodded his head. He pulled a glass bottle of sake from under the desk. He said, Danzo, today is of great significance. Remember 57 years ago on this very day. Today is the day where our teams were surrounded by AIM Ninja. Do you remember when our sensei Tobirama Senju said? He named me his successor as the Sandaime Hokage. Right. And do you know what this bow staff does? Danzo nodded. He resented the fact that Tobirama had chosen Hiruzen to be the 3rd Hokage. He was a smart man, but he didn't know where Sarutobi was going with this. Sarutobi continued, now that being the case, please explain to me too. Well, actually 3 things. The first is why the hell is Root still in existence? Second is why the fuck did you attack the 7 swordsmen of the mist with the inclusion of Naruto Uzumaki and trying to capture Naruto? And lastly, why shouldn't I kill you with my bow staff? Danzo's eyes went slightly wide. He inwardly cursed as this is definitely not a position he wanted to be in. Due to the fact that he can keep a straight face, he thought that he could put this off him for the meantime. Then when the meeting was over he could tie loose ends. He said, Hokage-sama, I do not know what you are talking about. I stopped my proceedings in Root after the Yondaime disbanded them. Sarutobi had other tricks up his sleeve. He secretly sent Anbu members to abandoned Root stations. He is going to merely stall Danzo. Then he will strike. He said, Danzo, why would you lie to me? I have someone who can pinpoint. He was cut off by Danzo. Danzo said, who was it? I can guarantee that it was a member of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Sarutobi could tell that Danzo has an edge in his voicing. Normally Sarutobi would get angry too, but he was going to milk this for what it's worth. More and more information started to come in through his invisible earpiece. He said in a calm, cool voice, perhaps. Danzo thought he had something with this. He said, how do you know that he wasn't lying and trying to get something out of it? It seems like the information you received is corrupt. Does it not, Sarutobi? Sarutobi put his hands under his chin. He said, Danzo, you are right. How can I trust the likes of the 7 swordsmen of the mist? Yet, how can I trust a little kid to not steal a piece of candy from the store or an old man to protect a man's son from the terrors of the world? Better yet, how can you trust your rival to the throne of the leader of Konoha no Sato not to try to usurp the position by taking a Jinchuriki and conform him to the way he believes ninjas should think to plot an overhaul of Konoha? You can't really trust anybody, can you? Because no matter what, betrayal is always bound to happen to everyone even if you want to deny it. Isn't that right, Danzo? Danzo was stoic on the outside. Inside, however, Danzo was gritting his teeth. He sighed as he said, I don't believe you are correct in your assumption. I believe that the people of Konoha should stick together. Sarutobi closed his eyes as more gruesome and disturbing news came in. He sighed as he saw between the facade of his former friend. He said, Danzo, you know and I know that you have experienced betrayal. In fact, the betrayal that happened today all those years ago created who you are today. You have become this cold, dead, decayed, and most likely deranged person. I see through all of it and see a spoiled, heartbroken boy in you that is still grieving over the fact that you weren't chosen. Danzo almost lost it right there. He barely held on to his composure. He said, words coming from the so-called peaceful Hokage. You know and I know that Konoha is a facade of the ugliness that is the shinobi world. It should have been burned to the ground. Yet here we are thinking that Konoha is the best. If it wasn't for my ninjas, Konoha would have been dust by now. Sarutobi knew he won, but sometimes he questioned if it is worth it. He said, Danzo, just shut up. You unfortunately incriminated yourself. Now I'm going to tell you some facts. The first is that Anbu have been investigating your secondary bases that lead to your main base. We have found all your loose ties such as the maiden of the orphanage, all the way to the list of missing kids from the Kyuubi attack. We even found the file on the plans for Naruto. It is over, Danzo. I gave you a way out by letting you confess personally, but you decided to lie to me. Everything will be out in the open. Everyone will see the facade that is Danzo Himura. Danzo tried to say something, but Hiruzen stopped him in his tracks. He said, Danzo, I'm giving you 5 seconds to leave Konoha and all of its inhabitants or I will kill you. Lava Lord. During the night, Lava Lord Ozai was alone in his throne room. He made sure no one was around. He then did a few hand signs and said, Kushiyashi no Jutsu. As he said it, a blue mystical ball appeared. Inside the orb was the master. The master asked, what is it, Ozai? Ozai smirked as he said, the chosen one is here. No, not like this, I don't want to die. Please spare my life and I will tell you anything you want. I beg of you. The man with blonde hair and a mask on looked at him impassively. He said, your information is just a desperate way for me to spare your feeble life. Then after you leave you will leave and join the group looking for me. Too bad for you, I don't really care about your fake information. Once you raped that poor woman and forced her to do such disgraceful and humiliated acts, your life was stamped for death. Goodbye, Hyodo. With one full swoop of Hyodo's abandoned sword, the man cut off Hyodo's head. Hyodo's head rolled on the floor. The masked blonde-haired man put the sword in the man's neck. He potted the sword in the square in the middle of the city. The man sighed as he changed to original form. Naruto sighed as he slumped down. He clicked his earpiece and said, done, the mission is completed. I'm coming back in a few seconds. Naruto clicked off and started to limp his way back. As he walked away, bodies started to drop to the ground. As Naruto walked to his base, he barely made it. He walked in and saw that the others were waiting for him. He said, okay, it's done. Kushimaru asked, how was it? Naruto said, Kushimaru-sensei, they were getting harder to defeat. Hyodo was surprisingly the easiest one to defeat. It seems like these benders are able to use their chakra in their hands and arms to force the elements out of them. It looks pretty dangerous as it starts to destroy the chakra points. Yet the stronger the person's chakra, the more powerful their fire is. They are insanely powerful in that instance, but otherwise they are weak. The Rebel Alliance can take them out. Now on the openings are on the left and the back. Kushimaru nodded. He said, Naruto, what else do you know? What is your next plan of action? Naruto had to think about it. He said, well, as you know, I have school. I have found that there is a secret passage from the principal's office that leads to the throne room. I used the eye patch to track it. We could use it to actually get the rebels in the attack room. The question is when. Kushimaru said, great job Naruto-kun. I want you to keep the student facade up. We will contact you as to when the rebellion will occur. I see you are committed to setting these people free. You will be great ninja one day. Naruto did a salute as he said, thank you, Kushimaru-sensei. Out of thin air, Naruto disappeared into the night. Kushimaru on the other hand turned around and saw the rebel leaders wanting to talk. Morning. Naruto woke up noticing that he was in the arms of Azula. He sighed. This happens almost every night. She has constant nightmares of her being a tyrant. She cuddles up with Naruto to make the horrible nightmares go away. At first Naruto was slightly creeped out, but Naruto is used to it now. He wondered to himself, I wonder how much is she going to hate me after all of this is said and done. He sighed as he didn't want to hurt her as she has such a fragile mind. He often wondered if it would be better just to kidnap her and do what he has to do. He remembered today is March 15 and it is Miss Azula's 13th birthday. She was absolutely gush about it for the last 10 days. Zuko walked into Naruto's room to talk to Naruto about an exams. That was when he saw Naruto cuddling up into Azula. She just so happened to moan something incoherent. Naruto said a string of curses. He knew he had to play as Zuko's equal. He saw a fireball coming directly at him. It was a weak one, considering that Naruto could blow a whole building into flames. Yet even if it is weak, Naruto knew he was going to take the hit or the prodigy will wake up. Then all hell would break loose. He much rather have a burn than electricity and fire course through his body. He just closed his eyes and anticipated the hit. Fortunately or unfortunately Azula woke up. She saw the fireball come and charged an electric beam at the fireball and at Zuko. The electric beam sent Zuko through the door. Naruto's eyes went wide as he saw Zuko went out the door. Azula saw that she cuddled Naruto. She nearly freaked out. Naruto rolled his eyes as he got ready for a nice little shock. She sent electricity through Naruto's body. Naruto was getting zapped and started twitching. As Naruto started to smoke he passed out. Azula had a big smile as she cuddled deeper into Naruto. She said, good night bear-kun. A few hours later, Naruto was woken up by a guard. The guard said, brat, wake up. It is time for class and you will not be late, again. Of course Naruto felt the shocks of Azula pass through him. He winced a bit as he got up. He put on his mask. He put on this big mask and said, oi, come on. Can a man get a good 5 minutes to sleep? Oh well. Can I at least take a shower first? Sheesh, just because you smell doesn't mean I don't want to smell like you. The guard was angry because Naruto kept gunning him for something. He wanted to hit him, but he couldn't as he was a friend to Azula and Zuko. He was mumbling something that Naruto heard but didn't say anything. The guard left leaving Naruto to himself. He sighed in relief as the guard was gone. He then heard a noise from his earpiece. He clicked it to hear, the volcano erupts tonight. Naruto said blankly, hi. He sighed as he started to take his shower. His thoughts were running amok in his mind. He thought about how everything changed since the last 2 years. The rebels started to rise. The 7 swordsmen started to get involved because he was a curious bastard. He cried in the shower as he 2 friends that were like brother and sister cuddle buddy were going to change forever. He already knew that Azula was possibly psychotic, but Naruto has been a stress reliever as she cuddled up to him and they went away. This however will probably break her. He had to justify it somehow. He thought, is the sacrifice of 2 worth the sacrifice of thousands? Naruto wiped the tears as the rain fell on his face. He was indifferent about killing. The biggest problem for him is how the deaths will affect the people he likes. He got out of the shower and had a blank look on his face. He pulled out his kunai and jammed it into the picture of Lava Lord Ozai's face. Konoha, the last 2 years have become an overhaul in the village hidden in the leaves. Right now class was about to begin in the revamped edition of the academy. Haruka Yamino, former Anbu captain, has taken over as the teacher. Coincidentally his class consisted of the shinobi heirs and heiresses. He said, hello class, I'm Haruka Yamino and I am your new and permanent teacher as long as you are in the academy. You guys have passed the other exams to make it here. As you know most of your other classmates either have failed or does not have enough chakra to make it to this class. So be proud that you made it. Now we will start class by having an introduction of who you are, what are you training to be, what do you think your strengths are, what do you think your weaknesses are, and how do you think you can fix it. By now you should know most of that stuff. We are starting in alphabetical order. So Shino Aburam, we're starting with you. Begin. Shino got up and went towards the front of the class. Shino is of average 9-year-old height. He has an afro-like brown hair. He has pale white skin with his eyes being covered by his hunter green rimmed like sunglasses. He has a tannish brown overall trench coat. He has 3 kunai pouches on it. He said, "Hello, I am Shino Aburam. I am a bug user. I am training to track people and other things. My strengths are the ability to use bugs in battle and taijutsu. My weaknesses are water and fire type ninjutsus. I am still analyzing how to beat that." Iruka nodded. He thought about how different Aburams learned to overcome it. He looked on the paper and said, "Chouji Akimichi, you're next." Chouji Akimichi was slightly taller than Shino. He is heavier than everyone in his class. He has 2 small brown ponytails on each side of his head. He has 2 spirals on each side of his cheeks. His eyes were squinted. He was wearing green and brown shirts and pants on. He currently has a bag of chips in his hands. He said, "Hi, Munch, I'm Chouji Akimichi. I am a capture and secure type of ninja. My strengths include expanding my body and herbs. My weaknesses are speed and jinjutsu. I have been working on my speed and training my alertness." Iruka thought, I can work on that." He said, "Okay, Chouji, we will work on that. I will teach you how to work on your alertness." Next is Hinata Hyuga. Hinata Hyuga got up. She is about an inch or 2 smaller than an average 9-year-old. She has midnight blue hair that is in a Heim cut. She has a heart-shaped face with violet pupil-less eyes. She has a white coat that has the Hyuga symbol, the yin-yang symbol. She has a white robe on with her name on it. The girl is one of the strongest students in the academy. She smirked as she walked up there. She said, "Hello gentlemen, or should I say gentlemen. I'm the reigning queen of this class, Hinata Hyuga. I'm a tracker, fighter, and medic. I specialize in jukin and medicine. My weakness is my size, then again I can make that an advantage. What I'm working on is my refining my diplomatic abilities." Iruka blinked as he knew Hinata was a little eccentric. He knew he was going to talk to her about it. Or then again this might be the confidence that his class needs. He said, "Okay, next is Kiba Inuzuka." Kiba came up the stage. He is an inch shorter than Shino. He has brown hair. His face is an oval shape with dark brown eyes. On his face, he has a small red triangle. He has a brown coat with fur on the hood. He was extremely rowdy. He said, "Yo, I am Kiba Inuzuka. I am tracker and fighter. My specialty is sniffing out the enemies. My biggest problem is the sense of time. I'm working on getting my red triangles longer so I can get my dog." Iruka nodded. The boy, from what other teachers told him, he was always late for class. He will help him by either failing him or bring him to class himself. He said, "Okay Kiba, thank you for your introduction. Next is Shikamaru Nara." Shikamaru Nara got up and went to the front of the stage. He was of average 9-year-old height. He has a pointy face with black eyes. He has black hair that is pulled back into a spiky ponytail. His has on a grey shirt and pants that have the Nara clan symbol on it. He yawned as he stood in front of the class. He said, "Troublesome, I'm Shikamaru Nara. I'm strategist, capture, and long-range fighter. My specialty consists of the use shadows. My weakness is my troublesome lack of stamina. I'm fixing it by doing troublesome exercise." Troublesome. Iruka saw Shika go back to sleep on his desk. From what he has heard, Shika is the genius in this group. The reason that Shika barely passes instead of being on the top is because he doesn't try. Not even a little bit. He has done enough to just pass because he considered school troublesome. Iruka thought to himself darkly that he will fix Shika's problem. He said, "Okay, Shikamaru. We will fix that problem. Don't worry." Okay, the last one is Sasuke Uchiha. The moment Iruka said his name, Sasuke was up. He is the same height as Shikamaru. He has midnight blue hair that is pinned up as a duck's tail. He has a pointed face with jet black onyx eyes. He is wearing a light blue shirt and white shorts with the Uchiha clan symbol on the back. With each step he became more and more arrogant. He said, "HN, the name is Sasuke Uchiha. I am an avenger, fighter, and ninjutsu genius. My specialty is Kaiten Jutsu. My weakness is a secret. Why would I tell the people beneath me my weakness? What am I working on is simple. I'm going to kill my brother." Iruka's eyes widened a little. This kid wants to kill his former captain. He knew that would be a long shot for him to win. He has acid coming into his stomach from Sasuke's quest of being an avenger. Avengers create so much hate in the world as their conquest can involve innocence. He was going to talk to the Hokage about Sasuke. He said, "Okay class, I would be teaching you how to." Lava Lord Ozai. He was relaxing in his throne chair. He is waiting for instructions from the master about Naruto. He has seen more and more of his guards killed, yet not a single person has seen what he or she looks like. He has started to become suspicious of the men with Naruto. Unfortunately for him, he can't prove it as they have been under surveillance for almost all of the time. The populace has deep tension going on. He is by any stretch of the imagination stupid. So this means that something isn't right. He will find out what it is. In the meantime, he has a party to celebrate. After all, his daughter is becoming a teenager. He got up with his ceremonial clothing too and started to walk to the school. What he did not know is underneath him, the rebels were planning their assault. Azula, the school has been nothing but a big party. Naruto was laughing it up with Azula and her girlfriends. The first was Ty Lee. Ty Lee is of average height. She has brown hair that was in a ponytail. Her eyes were golden. She has a heart-shaped face with brown hair. She has a gymnastic-shaped body. She is always seen smiling. Ty Lee was kind of the new girl who started the academy with Naruto. Naruto immediately befriended her. Due to Naruto's relationship with Azula, they became great friends. However, Ty Lee's relationship with Naruto became strained when Azula became a little envious when he put his arm around her neck. Of course, Naruto was oblivious as to what he had done because as most men know, you can't understand women no matter what age. Her other friend was Mai. Mai is of average height. She has black hair and a Heim cut. Her face was a bit pointy. Her eyes are a dark gray. She has one of the few royal lava robes. It was red, black and gold with the land of lava symbol on her back. Mai was extremely bored. She has known Azula for 8 years. Her father is the advisor to Ozai. She has been given everything from her parents by the use of bribery. All she had to do was be quiet and emotionless, and she received whatever she wanted. Her mask became cracked by the two boys Naruto and Zuko. She has developed a small crush on Zuko. He is the only person that could make her turn pink. Naruto said, "Hey Mai-chan and Tai-chan. How have you been?" Mai rolled her eyes as Naruto knows that he should never call her that. Tai on the other hand blushed. Mai pulled a small knife and threw it at Naruto. Naruto dodged it. He exclaimed, "Mai-chan, why are you being a meanie? Is it because your Zuko-chan isn't here?" She blushed a little pink as she started to throw more knives. Naruto started to jump and dodge them. As Naruto's mask was in check, his inner side is in chaos. He knew that there was a big chance that they will become prisoners of war. It depresses the Naruto as he has been put in a hard place. As a result, he promises himself he will have as much fun with them as possible. He jumped back into Mai's face and said, "Come on Mai-chan, I thought you were a much better thrower than that. Maybe Zuko-chan not being here has caused poor Mai-chan to be off on her throwing." She turned red for the first time in a long time. She ran after Naruto saying words that would make a sound Kunoichi blush. Naruto kept running as Azula had her smirk on her face. Ty Lee was laughing her ass off. Naruto was able to outrun Mai and get back to the other two. The two are surprised to see Naruto was holding his side wincing. Naruto saw their look and did a sheepish laugh as he tried to hide the pain. His became wide as he saw Zuko. Zuko was bandaged up with only one hand free. He had a smirk on his face as he said, "Burn." The fireball came out at Naruto. Naruto said the mother of all curses, "Fuck." Before it could hit the war bells went off. Naruto recognized it and sighed. He caught the fireball with ease and dissipated it. His eyes changed from soft and happy to hardened and cold. He said, "You guys are going to have to do better than that if you want to defeat me and the rebels." As soon as he had said this, he changed forms from the Naruto they knew to the blonde-haired menace that has killed their guards. Naruto got into one of the ninja stances and said, "Let's rock." Azula and Zuko are in shock by this Naruto. They have known him for 2 years and he always seemed goofy and quirky. To see this stern cold Naruto scared them, especially Azula. She said in a shocked and hurt voice, "Why Naruto? Why are you invading us? What did we do to you?" Naruto in his stone-cold voice said, "Azula, you just don't realize what's going on. You haven't thought about how many people are in trouble because of your father. Lava Lord Ozai has been doing things to people that you would vomit. Imagine Ty Lee, Azula and Mai that you are mothers and wives and the government has taken your husband away from you as they disappear. Now you're left all alone with a child. Now imagine that kid is exceptional in firebending and they take him or her away. If it is a girl, they are used as breeding machines. Well, that is what your country has been doing." Azula shook her head as those crazy thoughts are coming back in full force. Unfortunately, her little teddy bear has become Orion. Her eyes became stern and cold just like Naruto's. She has officially embraced her psychotic side. She began charging electric particles into her hands. She said to Naruto Uzumaki, "For such an accusation against my father, you will earn your place in the ground." Mai, Ty Lee and Zuko get in battle positions. "We're going to put this betrayer to the ground." Azula started to strike first with her blue lightning. Naruto easily dodged it as if it is nothing. Naruto came at blinding speed towards the four. Naruto pulled out a kunai and almost hit Azula. Mai threw a shuriken at Naruto to deflect it. What surprised the four was Naruto's ability to catch the shuriken in between his two fingers. Naruto did something unorthodox. He held the shuriken and cut his right palm. The four's eyes became wide as Naruto's blood dripped on the floor. Naruto said, "As my blood falls onto the ground, I make the promise to protect the innocent even if I have to stop my friends and family." Hijutsu. Kaibushin no Jutsu, secret art. Blood clone. When Naruto said this, the blood on the ground multiplied. Instead of there being one Naruto, there is four of them. He sighed as he said, "You guys can back out now. Or you can face me and trust me, you will not like it." Instead of running, which was secretly his hope, they got into a better stance. Zuko screamed, "I'm not running from a pathetic traitor." That started the battle. Zuko. Naruto was able to break the four up. Divide and conquer is the best way for Naruto to win. The Naruto clone looked at his opponent Zuko with a cold but sympathetic look. He didn't want to face his opponent or for that matter any one of them. Fate was just not on his side today. He pushed Zuko right back with the fireball he created. Naruto winced as one of his chakra points were inflamed. He saw the hatred grow in Zuko's eyes. Naruto said in a monotone voice, "Zuko, I know you hate me now. I understand that you feel." Zuko cut him off by screaming, "You know nothing. Father already hates me, but he keeps me around because of my sister Azula. Now when he finds out that my best friend who I considered my brother is a traitor and who is trying to take over, what do you think will happen to me? No Naruto, you don't understand, but trust me, you will." Zuko sent a fierce flame at Naruto. Naruto quickly dodged the flame. Naruto threw 3 shurikens at Zuko where it would not be vital. To Zuko it was coming at him very fast. He sent more and more fire towards the shurikens to try and slow it down. It seemed to work as the shurikens went past him. Zuko was not able to take a breather as Naruto kicked right into the chin, knocking him back. Naruto came at him faster than he thought was possible and elbowed him into the wall. Naruto has a look of disappointment from Zuko. Zuko should be able to defend Naruto better than that. He said, "Zuko, show me that you are not a failure to your father. Fight me like a prince of lava that you are. Show me that you aren't weak like your father said you are." That did it for Zuko. He was going to kill Naruto. His anger wasn't fully directed at Naruto. It was at his father, but in his blind rage Naruto and his father are the same. They both were going to pay. He pulled out his scimitar out of his robe. He pulled his arm out of wrappings and was ready to kill Naruto. He came at Naruto with blinding rage. He came at him swinging his blade. Naruto ducked and went to strike with his kunai that was hidden in his sleeve. He almost succeeded, but Zuko rolled out of the way in the air. He tried to slice Naruto in half, but Naruto used the kunai to block. He went up against Zuko, pushing him and scimitar back. Zuko jumped back and came back with full force. He truly was ready to strike Naruto and end him. Naruto dropped down and went past him and hit him in the back of the knee. Zuko went down only to meet an elbow in the back of his head. He screamed in pain, only to lose focus. Naruto took advantage of this and flipped Zuko on his back. Zuko quickly put his guard up with his sword. Naruto forced the kunai down on him. Naruto said, "Just give up and you won't die." Zuko snarled, "Never." He arched his back and forced the kunai to slide past him. He held Naruto's arm down and flipped over Naruto. He was able to get back at square one with Naruto. Naruto secretly smirked. He was going to have fun. Ty Lee looked at the Naruto clone. She saw that even though Naruto was in his cold demeanor, he was having conflicts coursing through his mind. She said, "Naruto-kun, I don't want to fight you." Naruto said in a cold, stern voice, "That's fantastic. It will make it so much easier to beat you." He rushed her with a right hook. Her eyes went wide at his speed. She instinctively did a backflip to get space between Naruto and her. This gave her an opportunity to look at who she is fighting exactly. Naruto on the other hand used this space to pull out a handful of sewing pins and threw them at her. She dodged them rather easily. She thought it was a little too easy to dodge. She did not see the extremely thin strings that were connected to the sewing needles. Naruto smirked, giving her the indication she was caught in a trap. Naruto pulled his arm back, causing the needles to connect and wrap Ty Lee. She quickly pulled out her butterfly dagger that she somehow hid. She was able to deflect the needles with the dagger. If this surprised Naruto, there was little indication of it. He said, "So Tai-chan has been withholding weapons from her best friends. How interesting. I thought this fight would have ended quicker." She said, "Well Naruto-kun, some people had to learn how to survive as the daughter of parents who are dirt poor. I barely made it to the academy. The only way I made it was a lottery for the last spot because of one of the general's daughters died from a sickness." Tai for the first time in a long time had a cold look. She continued, "I had to learn how to survive 2 different worlds. The world of the poor where you could barely live as it was, where people had a grain of bread to survive. I was picked on there as I was given the chance to go to the academy. They despised my family and I for so-called turning our back on our own kind. They knew that if they had the chance to they would take it. Some people had touching problems, so I learned how to fight and protect myself. The other world is just as bad. You see, the world of the rich is just as bad. They beat you mentally as they keep coming back to the fact that you are poor. They make fun of your textbooks because they are tattered. I was told by my mother to keep my head up and keep smiling. After the experiences I went through, I carried this butterfly dagger in the memory of my late mother, who was a kunoichi. I was able to finally make friends, and now you want to take that away from me. There will be hell to pay. She came at Naruto with a fire in her eyes that did not burn out. Naruto knew how that felt. He will however have to take her out. He had one more needle which held a poison that will knock her out. He did not ever wanted to fight Ty Lee when she is pissed. He pulled it quickly as she came at him. Before she struck, a needle hit her right in the back of the neck. The effects were instant and she fell to the ground unconscious. Mai's face didn't show much, the Naruto clone concluded. He saw that she was going to fight him with weapons. He pulled out a kunai. She said, "You know, Naruto, I was not in any way surprised that you were a traitor. It is unfortunate that we will bring you in and you will be beheaded. I do however hope they castrate you first. I want you to feel unbearable pain for your mutiny." Naruto replied, "Mai-chan, it seems we are on two different planes, aren't we? You believe I am a traitor to the royal army while I believe I am doing something that is right. I guess that is the real world. Before we engage into our little scuffle, I want you to ponder this thought. When two different perspectives meet at one point, what makes the other right or wrong?" She threw 3 throwing knives at Naruto. He dodged them and threw some kunai back at her. She tried to deflect them, but it was futile as she was hit in her arm. She grimaced as she took the kunai out and she clutched her arm. Naruto used this time to come and attack her with a kunai. She moved out of the way only to feel a kick in the back of the head. He turned his kunai around to try and stab her. She rolled out of the way just in time. She saw some of her hair strands float in the air. Naruto had a smirk on his face. He saw the awe that was in her eyes. He said, "Better be careful, you do want to be at my beheading with Zuko, right?" Naruto always knew how to taunt people. This taunt made her rush him, causing the hole Naruto caused from his kunai in the shoulder to start bleeding some more. Naruto waited until she was close enough to deflect her attack to hit her within the ribs, then in the shoulder. She grunted in pain only for Naruto to hit her in the back of the head. As she fell to the ground, she heard Naruto say something. He said, to answer the question earlier at morality. She silently slipped into unconsciousness. Azula. Naruto saw Azula's face stoicism. Her face also showed cracks and creases in her perfect world. She said, "Traitor, I want to know why. Why shouldn't I kill you right now?" Naruto taunted her, "Now Azula-chan, what have you learned about giving people second chances? When you give them that much time you will pay for it sincerely." When Naruto said this, he came at her with a burst of speed. With her training from her father, she learned how to fight back with ear bending. Her hands became enflamed as she sent fireballs at Naruto. Naruto easily dodged the fireball and launched a punch towards her. She blocked it with her enflamed hands, causing Naruto to wince and grunt at the burn. She pushed his hand up and went under to hit him in the stomach. Naruto was able to grab her wrist. He smirked as he started to spin her. He then flung her to the other side. At first Naruto thought it was a good idea. Unfortunately, Azula used this time to raise her fire level from yellow to red. She sent a stream of fire towards Naruto. What surprised Naruto was the fact that the fire started to grow bigger and bigger. Naruto didn't have enough time to dodge the fiendish fire. He cursed as he knew this was going to hurt. Before it was too late to stop the fire, he remembered something that a man grayish-silver hair had taught him. He went through the hand signs. Boar, tiger, ram and dog in a slow pace. He unfortunately messed up a sign with the position of the pinky. He said, "Suiton. Junsai, water style. Water shield." Naruto noticed that his finger was off. Unfortunately it was too late. Azula saw Naruto get engulfed with her fire. Her psychotic demeanor made her crack a smirk. She said to no one in particular, "That's what you get when you mess with Azula, the princess of the land of lava." She felt like doing a maniacal laugh there. That was until a kunai whizzed past her. She put her hand up to the cheek and felt a liquid substance. She looked on the ground to see a red liquid, blood. It was blood, her blood. She saw in the fog a shadow of a person hunched over. She heard a voice say, "We're not done just yet, Azula-chan." Her eyes went wide as it was Naruto's voice. Her eyes then narrowed as he was supposed to be burned to a deep crisp. He was supposed to be ashes floating in the wind. She snarled, "How are you alive? You were hit dead on with a powerful fire attack." Her hands were shaking back and forth. He was panted hard but was able to smirk. She was finally able to get a good look at him. His clothes were burnt almost completely. His body was smoking with second and third degree burns all over his body. Surprisingly, his hair stood the same way. Naruto taunted, "Well, Azula-chan, a ninja never tells his or her secrets, but because it is the hime of Yaogan, I am obliged to." She snarled as she got ready to attack once again. She rushed him with her hands ablaze with blue fire. She started to strike with jabs left and right. Naruto dodged the attack stealthily. He knew exactly how to get her to go in a blind rage. His smirks grew bigger as he started to taunt her once again. Azula-chan, I thought you were the Haim of this land, not a little baby having a temper tantrum. Now Azula-chan, you wanted to know how I'm here. Well, it's easy, I used my water shield. It just so happened that I wanted to see how powerful you are. I was pretty disappointed. I could have sworn Ty Lee was throwing the fire because it couldn't have been the Haim no Yaugen. She snarled and was throwing punches and kicks chaotically. Naruto swiftly dodged them. Yet as the battle raged on, Naruto's burns and scorch marks started to blister and it was hurting a lot. The temperature from her fists were affecting him also. If she was in the right state of mind, she would have used this to her advantage. Naruto knew he had to try and finish this fight off quickly. He said, Azula-chan, sorry about this, but Naruto kicked her in the abdomen. As she bent over in an oomph, he spun and driven a chakra-enhanced elbow into her temple. She fell to the ground, passed out. Naruto fell onto the ground on one knee. He was panting as the blisters were pissing him off. He wanted to scream in pain from the side effects of using the Kai Bushin. When the clones disperse, that take up an abundant amount of chakra from the person. In addition, when they disperse, the memory becomes high definition compared to the Kage Bushin. It becomes vivid to the molecular level. The biggest problem is what it does to the blood in the body. It causes the blood in the body to do what happens to raindrops when they hit the ground, splat and explode. They come back together, but it is a painful process. The Seven taught it to him because it a perfect Bushin to train with, as it has photographic memory and it did help with contain his chakra control. Naruto saw Jinpachi appear right next to him. He said, Naruto, take these pills. They will help with your blisters and pains, and this one will replenish your chakra. You got to hurry up and get to the throne. We will meet you there. We have some unfinished business to take care of. Naruto nodded and took the pills. They had a bitter taste to it, but they were extremely effective. He lifted Azula and trekked his way to the throne room where secrets will be revealed. The world of 5 lives will change, Naruto's in particular. Azula grunted as she started to wake up. She tried moving only to find that she was tied up in chakra concealing. She looked around to see her little brother Zuko, Ty Lee and Mai tied up. She realized that she could speak to wake them up. She grunted and wiggled around until she saw what was going on outside the door. Naruto was in the throne room looking into the eyes of Lava Lord Ozai. The stoic man in front of him was sitting in his throne chair. His legs were crossed and his hands were folded. He smirked as he looked at the boy face to face. He had locked down the place. The 7 swordsmen could not get into the building in time. He had a full smirk on his cold stoic face as he had the chosen one right where he wanted him. He said, my Naruto-kun, it is a pleasure to have the chosen one in my humble place. Naruto snarled as his hands shook. Ozai continued, well Naruto-kun, do you believe in fate? You see, fate is an external force that brings different destinies together. Fate has brought you here 2 years ago. Fate brought you to poor Maria. Naruto sneered at Ozai, how do you know about Maria, you bastard? Ozai smirked. He has Naruto right where he wanted him. Oh, what do you mean Naruto-kun? I mean that poor woman who died protecting you. Naruto, did you really think that I was stupid enough to not notice your influx of chakra and that seal on your back? I knew who you are, were, and will be. That pathetic use of a seal to hide who your appearance was easy to detect. That is not the point though. The point was that I used a simple strategy called tit for tat. I gave you the ability to live here while you unintentionally showed me what you are capable of. It worked out well. But with you being such an enigma, you made things difficult. You started to kill your guards stealthily. You were also able to rile up the rebels. How I will never know, but that doesn't matter. For that matter, I don't really care. Since I am a good uncle, I will let you ask any questions you want before your future flows on the floor in a river of red. Naruto did not like being taunted. This went double as he taunted his deceased friend. He did not recognize the title of Chosen One. He shook his head as he had a mission he must complete. He said, Lava Lord Ozai, that is a big proclamation, me being in a river of red. I do in fact have a few questions for you. The first is, why are you doing this to the people of Yaugen no Kuni? Ozai seemed like he was contemplating something. He closed his eyes to think. He knew Naruto was not going to kill him. He finally came to a point and said, well Naruto-kun, do you remember the tale of the source of the volcano? It is not just any tale. It is reality. You see, the volcano that we are on top of is that very volcano. Yes Naruto, the legendary phoenix is in the volcano. When this country was first created, it was supposed to be a peaceful, harmonic country. The government and the worker worked in harmony. The phoenix has given this land prosperous harvests. Over time, the mere type of power the phoenix had disappeared. As a result, we realized that the power became dormant due to the fact that the phoenix has no chakra. As a result, we have no other choice but to create another power source. This throne room is the actually power source. We created weapons that drain people's chakra as they mined. We created a poison that we gave the children, so they drain their chakra from their bodies using fire bending. They are giving their chakra source to wake it up. Now as to why I would do such a thing. Why would anyone do anything? I want power. I want the power of the phoenix to become immortal and all-powerful. Azla's eyes were wide. She could not believe her father would say such a thing. This could not be true. No, he's just saying that to get Naruto off his game. That's right, he's just getting into that traitor's head. She was thinking. Deep down her heart was breaking because it might be true. She saw the others were awake and heard every word. She hopes this is just a big dream. Naruto could not believe this. He just couldn't believe that this man could be this vile. Yet the look in the man's eyes told truth. Yet there is some sort of deception that he hasn't said. Naruto really wanted to kill this guy. Yet the lava lord continued, Naruto couldn't get so much better. You see, even the chakra of this place could not wake up the powerful phoenix. I was contemplating on how could I reawaken it somehow with another power source. But remember when I told you about fate? Then tell me how the Kyuubi Jinchuriki just so happens to walk right into my palace. Yes, Naruto, how our two fates are connected. Naruto suddenly became confused. He asked, what do you mean Kyuubi Jinchuriki? What does it have to do with me? Ozai's smirk became a full-blown smile. He said, Naruto-kun, you really don't know, do you? Well, I had a few spies in Konoha 9 years ago. I found out from my spies that the almighty Kyuubi no Kitsune attacked Konohagakure no Sado. The Yondaime Hokage could not kill the Kyuubi no Kitsune. So he sealed it into a small little boy. Naruto was dumbfounded. The Yondaime didn't kill the Kyuubi. Who was the boy who had the Kyuubi sealed into him? What did it have to do with him? Was he supposed to be the sacrifice for the beast to summon him? He wanted to know. He said, who is he? Ozai replied, well, Naruto-kun, I must say you are quite inquisitive. That doesn't matter because I have the big secret. You see, Naruto, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is in this room. In fact, I'm looking right at him. Naruto looked around to see no one but him. Naruto's eyes went wide. Ozai started to laugh as he said, yes, Naruto, you are the holder of Kyuubi no Kitsune. Azla's eyes went wide. She could not believe that Naruto Uzumaki was the holder of Kyuubi no Kitsune. He didn't look like a person who could hold such a vile beast in him. She must admit that even though he seemed to be a traitor, he was a great guy who didn't have any vile, dark evil nature. For Kami's sake he didn't kill her, especially with all the times he had been around her. He had a chance to do it during their battle. With all of this knowledge and abilities, why didn't he kill her? Naruto was in deep shock. He held the Kyuubi no Kitsune. It started to come back to him. All of the names they called him in Konoha, Kyuubi brat, demon and so many different names. Naruto clutched his chest as the pain was unbearable. The glass vase in his head with the repressed memories finally broke. He tried to gain control, but the anger and hatred clearly showed in his voice. He hissed, you would even sacrifice your own children for this power. Ozai laughed, Kyuubi brat, you don't know me well. For the power of the almighty phoenix some things will be sacrificed. If it so happens to be my kids then so be it. Naruto snarled at the Kyuubi comment, but he could not honestly believe that power could make a man sacrifice his children. He honestly didn't know what's going on anymore. All he knew is his chakra was spiking with the collaboration of his anger. He was calming himself down about the Kyuubi for now. After he gets out of harm's way he will address that small secret that everyone knew but him. As he calmed down some things were not connecting. He started to gain one of the main headaches that has been bothering him for years. He heard a ghostly voice talking to him. The voice told him to ask about the weapons and who does he work for. Naruto listened to the voice if only to end the headache. He said to Ozai, what's wrong with you? Why would you do something so stupid? There has to be something else. This country doesn't have nearly enough money to buy weapons like. There has to be someone working with you. Are you even in charge? Ozai's face went blank. All of his emotions that came from his smirks to taunting disappeared into thin air. He was caught and it was not even by Naruto. He needed to get this power quick as he might not make it to the next day. And Kiri, the master, was sitting down at the Mizukage's desk. He had his hands folded with his eyes closed. He had a smirk on his face. He said to no one in particular, well, Ozai-kun, you should know better than to fuck me. Oh, well, you shall see why the chosen one is needed for my world domination. The master did a few hand signs in a rapid successions. He mumbled something under his breath. He opened his eyes showing a jutsu. It activated the jutsu with a shimmer. Suddenly a huge burst of purple chakra appeared. As soon as it came it went. He chuckled as he said, now things will definitely get interesting. Ozai, you better watch out. The master is coming to town. Naruto-kun, don't worry, we will meet you soon and very soon. Naruto started to clutch his eyes as his head and eyes were in deep pain. Ozai realized something was happening and he had to stop it quickly. He rushed to Naruto to quickly disable him or kill him. He pulled out his sword and was about to strike. When he was an inch away, Naruto's eyes opened and blew Ozai all the way back to the wall. He slid off the wall with an oomph. He opened his eyes to see Naruto's chakra as a deep purple. This wasn't a weak little 9-year-old Naruto, he taunted. No, this Naruto is the Dijutsu-wielding shinobi who is ready to kill Ozai. Ozai knew it has something to do with the master. Yet he felt the presence of the Kyuubi. This was what he wanted, right? He wanted the Kyuubi to wake up the phoenix, but is it really worth it? Naruto put his right pointer and middle finger together and dug them into his left palm. As it was engulfed with chakra, when he pulled his fingers back it left a chakra signature. The chakra started to burst into a chakra light, temporarily blinding Ozai. When he was able to get his vision back, he saw Naruto with a sword that has the shape of Zabuza's sword but much smaller. The knob of the sword has spikes on the end that seem to be connected with the purple chakra. The blade has purple runes all over it that glowed. The power was literally rolling off the blade and Naruto. The lava lord got up and forced some chakra into his blade. He sneered at Naruto. Naruto was even fazed by the killing intent that was sent towards him. He said, "Naruto, this will be your end. No matter how you got that energy burst, it will not save you from the Yagen no Guntu, saber of lava." Ozai's sword started to reddish orange. The sword seemingly started to melt. The melting blade actually is lava but controlled by Ozai. Naruto lifted one eyebrow, showing more intrigue than surprise. Ozai came at Naruto with blinding speed. Naruto simply got out of the way. This Naruto was a possessed killer. His movements against someone like Ozai is extremely impressive. He ducked his head with such grace. Ozai had to admit this Naruto is amazing. He swiped at Ozai, barely missing his target. Ozai rolled away, panting as he noticed how close he was from biting the dust. He put his left hand ablaze with a blue fire. He shot some fireballs at Naruto. Naruto was walking slow with the sword on his shoulder. As the ferocious fireballs came at him with extreme speed, Naruto swung his sword 4 times. It caused the smoke to appear. When the smoke dissipated, the fireballs were gone. Ozai's eyes went wide. Naruto said in a neutral tone, "Lava Lord Ozai, you must fight me at your best. I will not accept a weak battle." He swung his sword and it grew in length. The sword was coming down on Ozai. Ozai quickly used his sword to block the attack. Naruto pushed his sword down on Ozai. Ozai pushed the sword up only to get back-fisted in the face. He fell to the ground in shock. He didn't expect Naruto to backhand him. Naruto then kicked him in the side. The kick was so powerful that it lifted Ozai up in the air. Naruto then put chakra into his fist. He punched Ozai in the sternum. The force pushed Ozai almost through the ground. Naruto waited for Ozai to crawl out of the floor. Azula, she couldn't believe her father was doing this. She realized her father doesn't care about her or her brother. Now she saw that Naruto was right. Her father is a tyrant. She hoped that Naruto can help end her father's tyranny. Yet inside she wanted to fight him. Well, if Naruto wins, she will become queen. She will take her medications for her bipolar. She will become the queen and the land will be prosperous. Naruto waited until he got up. His chakra was rising, causing an uproar of power. He didn't know what it was, but he didn't really care. He was going to make this man die a painful death. Ozai started to panic and went up against the wall. He did the hand sign Tora and did a stream of fire. The stream came roaring at Naruto. Naruto held his right hand out and caught the fire. He made it swirl in his hand and smirked. He said, "Well Ozai, I gotta let it burn." He thrusted the fireball into Ozai's chest. The burns was the most powerful burn Ozai has ever felt. He was in so much pain that he screamed and wailed in pain. Naruto pulled back and grabbed his sword. He gave Ozai a piercing look as he said, "It is time for you to die." Kiri, the master, laughed as he was slowly gaining control of the situation. Ozai was a mere pawn in the overall scheme of things. He was needed so Naruto would learn about the Kyuubi. It'd make things a lot much easier if Naruto wasn't an oblivious idiot. In the case of what becomes of pawns in the end, Ozai will be disposable. Yet for some reason he felt an omen was approaching. He didn't know what it was, but it didn't matter. He was going to milk this control of the Chosen One. He laughed at the endless possibilities. But first, he, or should he say Naruto, must finish the problem with Lava Lord Ozai. Naruto had his sword over his head ready to deliver the final blow. He said in a neutral tone, "Lava Lord Ozai, for the Republic of Yagen no Kuni, your mutiny towards the people of Yagen no Kuni has given you a death sentence. I will deliver your final blow. Any last words before you become the dust?" Ozai looked at Naruto horrified. He knew that he did not have enough strength to move. He was burned deeply in his chest. His body felt like it was drained of all the chakra he had stored. He has become weak just like his father told him he would be after he killed him. He was defenseless and vulnerable. What is worse is that he was at the mercy of a snot-nosed 9-year-old boy. He knew this was his end. However, his pride will not let him die just yet. He must tell Naruto something. "Naruto Uzumaki, I have seen you grow up from a little child to a growing young boy. I know that the things I did was wrong. I'm not asking you to let me live, but please take care of my son and my daughter. I want you to know that sometimes evil is paved by good intentions. Watch out for the man with red eyes. Tell my kids that their mother is still alive at the tower and that I love them." The real Naruto broke through the spell partially. He said, "Ozai, I will tell them and I hope you find peace in the next world." He rose up the sword to finalize the death of Lava Lord Ozai. Volcano. The volcano exploded lava from the deep dark trenches. As the lava flowed, something was rumbling. Something that has not appeared in so long they consider it a legend. Its claw held the treasure most have killed for. As the ashes of the old swirled around, the sleeping one has opened its red eye. With a loud roar it and spread its wings. It has returned. The master's control on Naruto was slowly slipping. He was so engulfed by the battle that he did not notice. He was goading Naruto to end this man's life. The mere reason is simple, it will essentially give him Naruto on a silver platter. His course of action will make Naruto a killer in cold blood. Naruto would start to become more and more of cold killer. So by the time he is 15 he would lose his emotions with the help of the master. So he was watching this as if this was a baseball game and the Hope and Innocence team is down to their last strike. The master however learned something today. That is, never count out Naruto Uzumaki, Hope, or perhaps even fate. Naruto swung his mysterious blade down onto the lava lord. The ground started to shake as if there was an earthquake. As a result made Naruto to become off balance. As a result when he swung he missed. Yes, the possessed Naruto missed his target. The unfortunate thing is Ozai is practically paralyzed, so Naruto was given another chance to deliver the final blow. He gathered his energy and swung again. This time however ashes spun in a whirlwind in between he and the lava lord. As he tried to see, an orange and red flash of light brightened the room. In fact, the burst of light destroyed the roof of the palace. It blew Naruto back up against the wall. In plain sight it seemed like nothing happened other than Naruto hitting the wall. In actuality something bigger, something deeper just happened. The master was clutching his eyes in pain. This was the first in what felt like centuries that he has felt such pain. Something went wrong. Someone tampered with his plans. His plans were almost completed. Now they were put on hold. Someone or something did the unthinkable. They severed and burned the connection to the boy. He has lost him and could not get to him. He screamed in agony, pain, and anger. His plans were on the shelf. He opened his eye to see the pupil has become diluted and possibly finished. He smashed the desk, breaking it in half, while a shocked Yagura looked on. The master calmed himself enough so he could give an order to Yagura. "Yagura, get me the all-seeing ball." Naruto chided his eyes from the light. When the light dimmed down, a being of immense power showed its full glory. The being's body was at least 10 feet tall. Its body was combination of blood red and bright orange. On its body there was a kanji sign that Naruto could not read due to what happened earlier. Its feet had 3 talons in the front and 1 in the back. Its wingspan was at least 18 feet long. Its wings were red and gold on the back. In the inside it was orange and silver. The face of this being was majestic as a swan's face. The face was golden with a hint of red. Its eyes were golden, moon crescent shaped. The being was extremely beautiful, majestic and overall powerful. The beast let out a powerful roar, scaring the living daylights out of Naruto. Naruto's bravado however would not let Naruto stay scared for long and not back down. He got up and looked, or well, tried to look the beast in the eyes. He said, "Who are you? What is it that you want?" The beast had his eyes only on Naruto. He smirked as he has waited a good 150 years give or take to see the boy. He said, "My name is Fenikusu. I have been taking a vacation in the volcano here. As to why I'm here, well, it is actually to save you from making a mistake." Naruto looked at Fenikusu with an incredulous look. He said, "What do you mean? What mistake would I have done?" The huge bird replied, "Naruto-kun, you were about to kill Lava Lord Ozai in cold blood. You were under the influence of a very vile evil person. You are connected to him, but the connection can be broken for a period of time. Now don't get me wrong, Ozai will die." But the flap of its amazing wing, the phoenix, turned Ozai into a pile of ashes. Naruto's eyes went wide. The bird killed the Lava Lord with just a flap of its wings. He honestly didn't know what to say. The bird however continued. "As I was saying, you are very special to the whole scheme of things in this world. With you being under the influence of someone so evil, you would have become just like him. Naruto, before I dive in further about what is happening, do you have any questions?" Naruto looked at the huge bird with awe. He didn't know what he could ask it. He gulped and thought about it for a moment. He asked, "Fenikusu-san, why do you and Ozai keep calling me the chosen one?" Fenikusu seemed to be blank for a moment. He said in a sagely voice, "Naruto, what you are asking for is simply too much to answer. You will come to understand that soon. Now, do you have anything else you want to ask?" Naruto was slightly ticked that there is so many secrets that people are keeping from him. He can handle it, damn it. Why don't they just tell him the truth? His anger was starting to show as his face contorted. The Kyuubi's chakra started to become transparent. As his anger grew, Funakusu hit Naruto with his wing. This caused the Kyuubi's chakra to stop flowing with Naruto's chakra. Naruto was so surprised that he fell on his butt. Naruto's chakra aura was an extremely light blue. Funakusu was extremely surprised by his innocent chakra. However, Funakusu refused to let Naruto see it. He said, "Naruto, you should not let your emotions get the best of you like that. Many people have died for doing just that." Naruto wasn't hearing any of it. He screamed at the big beast, "What's the point? Everyone is holding out secrets that directly involves me. What is it? Am I too young for everyone to tell me anything? What is it? I want to know, damn it." The Phoenix looked at Naruto. He could not even blink towards him. He said in a slow voice, "So you want to know why there's secrets that pertains to you? You want to know why no one has told you anything? That is understandable. You are feeling as if everyone is against you. But tell me, are you mature enough to deal with it? Let's start with that little outburst. You have not analyzed the situation. Why would they withhold secrets from you? Could it be because you are only 9 years old? You can't handle all of the secrets." Naruto's anger level elevated as once again someone did not believe he was strong enough to deal with it. He was going to say something about this discrepancy, but Funakusu started to talk before him. "You are so young, Naruto. Don't try to grow up so quickly. You will know all the secrets that involve you. For now we want you to live a somewhat normal life. We want you to keep your innocence for a little bit longer. Remember, that's how I returned from the ashes along with the Kyuubi's chakra." Naruto looked at him with mild confusion. He thought, why would they want me to live a normal life? What is normal for that matter? Is it normal to have people have deep hatred for an entirely different entity, but blame you? Actually, that one sounds pretty normal. Yet is it normal to kill at the age of 6? What does it mean? What does it mean? Yup, just watched A Nightmare Before Christmas. He doesn't know what he is getting protected from. Naruto said, "What is it that you want from me?" Funakusu said, "Well, I was getting there, but you were so enthralled in your tantrum. Well, since you calmed down some, I will start by saying you have a deep path that you are on. With this being the case, I will tell you what's going on. There is a person who is after you, or better yet, what you possess. What you possess has not been activated by you. As a result, this person can try to control you to a certain extent. I broke the connection between you and him. This will only for a few months. During this time you must activate the thing you have." Naruto's eyes went a little wide at this. There is someone after him. Better yet, that person wanted something he possessed. What could it be? He thought about it and snapped his fingers. He knew what this man or woman wanted. He or she wanted the Kyuubi. Naruto, however, missed something but doesn't know what it is. Funakusu said, "I cannot tell you what it is, as it will break the code of the 4 Kamis and could possibly or more likely disrupt the world." Naruto said, "4 Kamis, how is that even possible? I thought there was one big honcho. Who are the 4? What do they look like?" Funakusu said, "Yes, Naruto, there is one big honcho. However, because the power, respect and awe, there is no name for the Almighty." Naruto nodded in understanding. How can there be a name for an entity such as he or she? He gave Funakusu a look of being intrigued and urged him to continue. Funakusu said, "Now as to the 4 Kamis. There are 4 Kamis. Kami is just a title for God. The 4 were considered gods because of their abilities, such as bring dead back to life, purifying evil, and other things. They were more of a group that over time grew apart and went their separate ways. Over time they went to different lands and became that place's god. Well, to be exact, they became the guardians of those places. The first is Kame, Nanatsunami no Kami, tortoise, the god of the 7 seas. The second is Byako, Hayashi no Kami, white tiger, the god of the forest. The third is Ryujin, Sangaku no Kami, dragon king, the god of the mountains. The final one is always the one I forget. His title is Jakyu no Kami, god of the skies. Let's see, I remember his name started with the letter F. Oh wait, I remember his name is Funakusu." Naruto's eyes went wide. He could not believe right in front of him is one of the 4 Kamis. He didn't know what to say. Funakusu, on the other hand, was smirking up a storm. He might be a humble old animal, he was still very prideful. He loved boasting about himself. Naruto was in so much awe that he lost his voice. Funakusu said, "Well, Naruto, I knew I still had the touch. No matter. You must gain our summoning scrolls. If you are able to become our summoners, you unlock many different summoners. For example, if you sign the tortoise contract, you will unlock the animals from the seas." Naruto was surprised at how easy it sounded. However, there is something off about this. If these legends have legendary contracts that are able to summon other animals in their domain, then there is something else. He narrowed his eyes toward Funakusu and said, "What is the catch to this?" Funakusu smirked. He liked how this kid could pick things up quickly. He said, "I'm very proud of you. You are finally growing up and thinking logically. Isn't this great? It is simple, you have to pass our tests. Before I tell you about the tests, I will tell you the rewards of signing one of the legendary summons. You get the ability to use the scrolls we own. The scrolls gives you access to use our fighting styles. It varies from Phoenix Ninjutsu to Tiger to Jutsu. You must get the summoning scrolls of the four so you will be equipped to face the master.